Hey there, guys and gals, geeks and gamers. You're tuned in to the Nerd of Godcast, that place on the Venn diagram of life where Christ culture and nerd culture find sweet, sweet two-player co-op. Hello, and welcome to the Nerd of Godcast, that place where Christ culture and nerd culture scale the cliffs of insanity and rescue one another from inconceivable mediocrity. My name is Tony T, and for the next few minutes, we're going to be hanging out, helping one another out, and having a great time talking about all the things that we enjoy and lift our spirits with faith and fandom and all that good stuff. But I'm not here to do it alone, because with me, as always, is the incomparable Steve-O Supremo.
Hello.
Hi, Steven.
Hi.
Hi, Steven.
Hi, Tony.
What's up?
Not much.
And joining us across the table is the one and the only, the big man himself, Quentin Gregory Neff.
Hello.
Hi, Quentin Gregory Neff.
Hello.
I met your mom this week.
I met your mom too.
Me too.
Oh, hi.
That was a little excited.
Oh, sorry.
Me too. Why were you so excited to meet his mom?
We just all met Neff's mom. I never met her.
I feel like
Except for Jackie. Jackie
didn't
was the only
meet
one who
it.
didn't.
No,
know.
I feel like you were really excited for us to meet your mom.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've known you for 5 years, and you've never met my mom.
I did get one angry email from your mom one time.
What happened? Because I stayed too late at your house for after Bible study.
It was after Bible study, and Neff didn't leave my house till like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was still in high school, and his mom emailed me and said a lot of things that I'm not going to go into now, but all about Quentin.
So it's even more exciting whenever you guys meet in person.
So meeting her face to face, I still only had our only interaction was that email. So that was like my last anchor point. It was
Did you
like
think
my,
she was going to be like holding
my
a
last
grudge?
save state. Oh yeah, she was going to come back in and she was going to be like, and furthermore, and then just go off and be like,
So you're the one.
you're the one.
There was one moment when Neff was introducing his mom to everybody, and then his mom left for a little bit. There was one girl at our table at the wedding reception that we were at, where we met his mom, that he had not introduced her to, and he's like, "I want you to meet my mom," and then walked away. And I was like, "He's introducing it to everybody. It's that like special. You just need to meet his mom."
Well, the girl we're talking about. She's a teacher. My mom has been a teacher for 27 years.
She's not a teacher though. She like told your mom, "I'm not a teacher. I don't know why he told you I'm a teacher."
Was that interaction as interesting as this story about that interaction? Because I actually just went to sleep during our podcast. I took a little Neff nap. It just happened. Anyway,
there are no little Neff naps.
Your mom is lovely.
Naps.
We can stop talking about it now.
Genie.
Here comes trouble. Let's make it double. It is Jackie and Jess, the Nerd of God twins. There they are. The reach is weird for me. I want to put in, now we're video now, and I want to put in like a little lightning effect, like when you reach out.
Please do
like
it.
the Emperor.
Please do it.
That'd be cool.
Jackie and Jess, what's up?
Not much. College.
College is up. You have a mock audition tomorrow.
Yes.
What is a mock audition?
For one of my classes, we're doing a fake audition to practice our audition etiquette and what it is we should expect from an audition, and
So
just practicing.
What are you graded on?
That's an excellent question. I don't know. I'm just
Well,
gonna
showing up, that's going to be
show up will be good.
no facial tattoos. I
No,
would think if
no,
I'm
I think I'm doing pretty good on
Oh,
that.
Mike Tyson is screwed.
No, I think just showing up and doing it is important, because for that class it's a lot of participation. So even if you suck, the whole point of that class is to get better as a performer. So even if I screw up the audition, I showed up.
You did it.
I did
you were
it.
there. Participation award.
So yeah.
Speaking of participation, my favorite participant, the one and only EJ Nieves, official Ness.
What's up, man? It's your boy.
It's your boy.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Were you here earlier and walk across the parking lot into the Learning Center at any point this afternoon?
No.
Okay, that explains why you ignored me. So I walked.
EJ!
I did. I walked out of this building, and I saw a dude that I swear I would have put my paycheck on that it was you.
I get that a lot.
Bro,
I get that a lot.
this guy. I mean, the
I think it's
shorts,
the beard.
the glasses, the hat. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
He
Was it a Bass Pro Shops hat?
No, well, it was an orange hat, and you're wearing an orange
Wow.
hat, which is unlike you.
Yeah.
So I, having seen that now, I went, well, maybe that was you.
He beat that guy
But
up,
I was
took
like,
his clothes.
EJ, No, it's cool. It's cool. I'll catch you later.
That's why I never do stuff like that, because I always fear the whole like, oh, they ignored me. Okay.
Yeah. No, dude. I would have promised anybody this was this guy. I just forgot that even happened until right
Can I
now.
make an announcement real quick? I've been waiting.
Uh-oh.
I've been
Oh,
waiting
wow. All right.
Bro.
to make a special announcement.
Please.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Uh-oh.
your boy
Your boy.
is now a Movie Pass participant. I got it in the mail today, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sadler, get a close up on this.
Zoom
Okay,
in
let me-
so we
let me
get
tell
his-
you my-
that
let me
whole
tell you my
number.
Don't get a close up on it.
There it is.
What's
Oh,
your security
yeah.
code?
Cover your cover your
I'm covering the
numbers.
code all in its glory. Your
Now,
boy,
I will take
Movie
it. See the back
Pass.
Now
one.
let's bring it back over here for just a second.
Movie Pass.
We're gonna bring it right in here on me, Nick. I need a
like that.
Nerd
He
of
needs an
Godcast aside
Uh-oh.
right now.
It's like a
So just bring it in
Facebook
right here.
post.
Okay.
I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
Before the show, I was coaching the Nerd of God twins, Jackie and Jess, on podcast etiquette about shouting and screaming unnecessarily during shows, because later on, when I have to edit these things, it liquefies my brain.
I'm sorry.
The volume is so loud that it will often cause a little bit of pee to emerge as I'm listening back, and it's kind of difficult to edit some of the levels down. And Steven
turned
was
my head.
right there with me, saying, yes, it's so loud, it's so loud, it's so difficult. And yet when Movie Pass was presented tonight, Steven, like a flaming hypocrite,
Hold on a second.
screeched and squealed. Yes, he did lean back.
That
and
was
yes,
Neff.
he did turn his head.
Flaming.
And yet, still the screams.
That was Neff. I screamed away
screams.
like this.
the
Ah!
screams.
That's what I did.
And we're back. Okay.
All right.
I
It
just
hurts so much.
need. So you have, what is a Movie Pass?
Man, for $9.99 a month.
Because
I'm-
apparently whatever it is,
It's
it
worth
got them
screaming
going.
for.
Shameless
apparently.
plug right now for Movie Pass. For $9.99 a month,
Hashtag not
your
ad.
boy is going to be able to watch a movie in the movie theater every single day of my life for $9.99 a month.
I know
Oh,
that's
that's
right.
nice.
Well, for at least a little bit until they
Well,
up the price.
Yeah, don't up the price later.
But I mean, $9.99 a month is not
yeah, it's
bad.
like it's like movie
Like,
it's
theater.
about 30
Netflix.
cents. It's about 30 cents a movie.
I'll
do
say
that.
If you
this.
see that many
If you see the
movies.
movie.
I have seen 10 movies since I got my Movie Pass. That's over $120 worth of movies,
There
and
it
I've
goes.
spent $10.
There it
Nice.
is.
I've seen 12 in 3 weeks.
You know,
it
there's
is.
something, and I don't want to be this guy, but when you're older and you have family and children and things like that, those kind of things become a little less practical. Because you got to get babysitters, or you got to like arrange schedules and stuff. But as a young single man, go for it, please enjoy. You know, do all your things, see all your movies.
Now, what was funny is EJ ordered his first
Yes.
before me or Neff,
Yes.
and just got his today.
That's not funny.
I got mine
But
a month ago.
later on, we'll say something that is funny, and then you can compare the two and see.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is my question, and I maybe a little bit of a challenge for you guys to think about. When you don't have to pay, I'm air quoting, pay for a movie, when it's kind of already been paid for, does that give you the freedom to be less discriminate with the movies that you go see? Like, have you found yourself, of the 12 or 20 movies that you've seen thus far, do you find yourself seeing movies that A, you wouldn't ordinarily see, or B, you probably shouldn't go see? But whatever, it's free, so it doesn't really count.
Less shouldn't, more wouldn't. Like, I'll see like a movie that I hear is bad, but it's like I can waste my time.
Bad
here.
meaning inappropriate, or bad meaning
Bad
low
as in
quality?
not poor quality. Like I can go see a movie that may not be like the highest quality movie, but I'm just like burning it just to get the Regal points.
So do you guys feel like if we went down the list of movies that you guys have seen thus far with your Movie Pass, do you feel like every one of those movies are movies that we can give the Nerd of Godcast seal of approval to? Like that everybody out there can go and see those movies? Or do you find yourself maybe straying a little bit from the path of your convictions to see those movies? Sorry to get so heavy-handed right off the gate here.
There are 2 or 3 but I would have seen them without the Movie Pass at the same time.
So it's
But
so
still.
so your liberty is not an excuse for your
No.
indiscretion.
No,
Oh, do we need to have some prayer right now?
maybe.
Let's back this thing up a little bit. Well, I'm glad that you guys get to go see movies. Just as with any other thing, make good choices.
Yeah.
See good things that edify and whatnot.
All right.
Okay.
That was so weird because you looked at me and then like Steven and then Jessica in like a one mode like
Oh, we did.
It's-
It's
looking at me. I'm like,
It's like this. It's when you go to the buffet. Let's just say we're sitting around the table at I don't know, Golden Corral. I don't know if Golden Corral is a regional thing or if people all across the country know what Golden Corral is, but Golden Corral is a buffet. They serve up a variety of different foods, but when you go to the buffet and you paid your entrance fee ahead of time, so you can pretty much eat anything you want, you might go in there and get some stuff that you don't know if you're just gonna try it. I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. I'm gonna load it up, and if I like it, because you don't have to discriminate at that point. You're not just ordering one thing. You can go ahead and throw some more of that weird looking stew on there, or that broccoli cabbage that smells like hate, or
Tastes like hate.
whatever you want to have on there. You don't have to be choosy at all, because you can just get whatever you want, and you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to weigh it out, because you're not paying for it. So the question is it the fact that we're paying for it what determines our discrimination on something, or is it the fact that we have moral convictions, or even just a quality conviction? Because if we go see something that's just is bad because it's morally bad, or it's down the wrong path of something that we should be putting in our minds or in our hearts, then we have to make better choices than that. If it's something that's just low quality, not good, then we have to decide if 2 hours of our lives is better invested wasting it on something that we know isn't bad because we didn't pay for it, or if we could go do something that's a little bit more impactful on it. So just me riding on top of my high horse. I call him Pedro. He's got a lovely saddle. All right, so moving right along, we're going to open up with a quick question tonight. This is hashtag If We Were. We've done this once before. It's kind of like a one-question interview. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a quick challenge to come up with the idea of who we would be if we were blank.
Like
so
all of us are individual?
no, there's all of us and individual, however we want to do it, okay? So, Jackie, because you talked, I'm going to give you the opportunity to pick a number between 1 and 5 at your leisure.
4.
The number is 4. Okay.
It's the most least excited. 4.
Well, I'm used to like 1 and 10, and I always go for 8.
Okay.
4.
1.
Good to know.
Well, 4 is the 8 of 1 through 5.
That's
True. 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5. It'd be 16 out of 20. I don't know how that works.
Math is hard.
Math is hard.
Sure.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. If we were Justice League characters, if we were DC Comics Justice League characters, what characters would we be? You can take a quick moment and think about who you would be. Take a quick moment, look around, and think about who everybody else would be. And we're coming back in 5, 4.
Crap, this is hard.
3, 2. Not for you, buddy. It's easy for you.
Why? Why is that easy? I don't like that, the way you just said that.
All right, Quentin Neff.
Yeah.
We're gonna start out with you.
So we're all gonna vote on who he is.
So everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we think we can figure out who Neff is gonna be. This might be an easy one, but if Neff was a Justice League member, who would he be? EJ, what do you think?
Please don't say the human ball or ball boy.
I thought that he was a Justice Society member, wasn't he?
Oh, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't want to go with the obvious because I'm trying to think of actually
should.
personality.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to go with the obvious to say Green
Please.
Lantern.
Please.
I mean, I'll give you that, but I think it's just solely because you love him so much. So I'll say Green Lantern.
Which
Nice.
Green Lantern?
Oh, here we go.
Guy Gardner.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
okay.
I would have said Guy Gardner.
we have 5 to choose from. As you can see in my phone case.
There you go.
Jessica, who's Neff?
I was gonna say Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
And you are correct.
Yeah, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That's right.
Guy Gardner, Green Lantern.
See, I wouldn't have said that. I would have said the Flash.
I would not.
I would have said the Flash. Well, maybe not because of your.
Bizarro Flash.
Maybe not because of how lithe and quick you are,
Yeah.
but because of how amicable
And my
you
fast
are.
metabolism.
You have to think, what's the Flash's role within the Justice League? Like, what is his his personality, the way he interacts with other people?
He go quick.
I mean, he goes quick, yes.
He do
But
the
you're-
fast.
I
I
think
love
you're thinking
Wait,
of-
hold on. I love Jackie's real quick. It's he go quick.
He go quick.
He does the
Well,
fast.
she's saving time by not putting the extra letters in there. Me go SeaWorld.
Yes, but by explaining
Do you mean
that
SeaWorld or
see
see
the
the
world.
world?
You know, ocean, fish, jump.
Are you going to see the ocean or are you going in the ocean? What do you
But
speak?
But isn't and maybe I'm wrong, but isn't Flash like sort of he's the one that brings a lot of levity. He's the one that kind of keeps things positive. He's just an encouraging kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Until he dies.
Well, they all die.
They all died.
nobody stays alive and
Everyone
nobody
dies.
stays dead in comic books.
Green
That's
Lantern
fair.
died.
I'm gonna give him Green Lantern just because clearly that's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
but
I do.
But I don't want I don't want Guy Gardner Green Lantern. He's the worst.
That's the only. You either get Flash or you get Guy Gardner Green Lantern. Those are your choices.
no, I would give you Kyle Rayner. If you were Green Lantern, you'd be Kyle
I
Rayner.
like Kyle Rayner.
That'd be your guy.
I'd like to be Hal Jordan, but I'll
No,
definitely
you're
accept
Kyle
the
Rayner. Yeah, you got to take that. All right, let's move it over to Jessica. If Jessica was one of the Justice League, who would Jessica be?
That's easy.
Wonder Woman,
Why Wonder Woman?
because she's wonderful.
Oh, I thank you.
And she has brown hair.
She's wearing a Wonder Woman shirt.
Oh, she is wearing a Wonder Woman shirt.
yeah,
Well, that I didn't notice till after
That
I
worked
said
out.
It, but
Anybody else? Wonder Woman? What do you think, DJ?
I'd give her Black Canary.
Oh,
I was gonna give that to Jackie.
really? Why?
Ultrasonic Scream.
No, 'cause when I think
Winner! Winner!
All right, so we don't need to do Jackie now. We're done with Jackie.
that makes me really happy, actually.
Perfect.
I had a different one for Jackie, but now I
What
go
was yours for Jackie?
Hot Girl.
Hawk.
Hawk.
Again,
What did you just say?
Hold her back. Hold her back.
Hawk.
Well, everybody
With a
chill
K.
out. Everybody
Like,
relax.
Hawk.
Yeah.
Wait. That was your hawk noise?
Have you ever seen a hawk?
You're the worst Tarzan ever. All right. I think that's really good. All right, so we got a Wonder Woman, and we'll go ahead and give you Black Canary.
Alright.
Steven.
I don't
Who do you
know.
guys say Steven is?
Pre-crisis Aquaman.
Why pre-crisis Aquaman?
That's the stupid one.
Wow. Thank you.
Wow, shots fired,
Yeah.
man.
I
Why?
told Steven before we started, I'm coming after him tonight.
What?
But for what reason?
Because he told me what to do.
What? I said let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, let's go start this podcast?
He was sitting on the chairs that you cannot see. I was walking up to the stage. Everybody else was here, and I said, "All right, bro, let's go." That's the entire.
Now, to be fair, we started an hour late tonight because we were patiently waiting for you. So
Yeah.
I think a well-placed "let's go" is not out of line.
I know what I said.
Okay, Jessica, who do you see Steven as?
It was a toss-up between Aquaman or Batman.
Yeah.
All right, so there was an enthusiastic yep over there. What do you think, EJ?
Wait.
Yeah, because there's a lot of characteristics of Steven that I would put Batman, because Batman's just this dude that he just doesn't care. He's gonna tell you. He could be very argumentative. He could be
I
very
don't like these reasons.
Stubborn.
Yeah. Like Batman's just this person that is just like, you say something to him and it's like, no, bruh, like it's my way or the highway.
Can't be around a lot of people. People don't.
Like, I just-
know
Don't
people
zoom
around
in on
him.
me.
I just finished
Saturn.
watching The Killing Joke, and then there was that scene when him and Batgirl, she was just talking to him, and he was like, nah, like it's my way or the highway.
Which scene?
Oh, hold on a second.
Let's be
They
careful
took a lot of
here.
liberties with Batgirl and his relationship in that movie.
Let's be
Yeah,
careful
from the
with
comic
this.
book.
But yeah, so I say Batman. My bad, Jessica.
Jackie,
Didn't
what do you
interrupt.
think?
I don't know. I was having a hard time placing because
Plastic Man.
Elastic Man.
No. There's no Elastic Man. It's
Yeah.
Elongated Man or Plastic.
Or
Man.
Plastic Man?
Yeah.
But you would be Plastic Man out of those two.
Thank you.
Why?
Neff is angry at me for some reason,
I'm
and I
always
don't know why.
angry.
Why?
Today's not the night, Steven.
I didn't do anything.
I'm done with you already.
I really don't know.
I'm very excited to see how this plays out tonight.
Yeah, very excited.
Okay.
I'm not having it tonight, Steven. I'm not having it.
Neff.
That's
I
what's
didn't
going
do
on.
anything. Do we need to take like a pause break and have a hug and hug it out?
No, this is great.
Hug
Let's
it out
keep this
right now.
rolling.
Neff, can I hug you?
No.
I'm doing it.
Oh, no.
here we
He's
go.
going
I'm gonna die.
Wait, your headphones. Your headphones.
you're
I'm
gonna choke
stun you
Jessica.
on-
It's happening. Oh my goodness, he RKO'd him out of nowhere.
Watch out! Watch out!
Out of
Watch out!
nowhere. Steven, your pants are falling down. Steven, fix your britches. Okay.
I couldn't say he wouldn't sell. He would just his face rubbing against mine. It was weird. He didn't sell the move.
See, now I would have said Aquaman because we have a long time joke with Steven that he's Aquaman.
Which is why I was choosing Aquaman.
and I get it, but
Well, Aquaman deserves more respect.
Well, he's about to get it.
But that's
Yeah,
the
he
thing.
is.
Aquaman is not a pushover hero. He's just not conventional enough to get respect. And I think that's that's you, Steven. I mean, you do the things. You hang there. You're on the team. But a lot of people don't see, they don't see you in your element where where you have righteous reign over the seas and all of the content thereof.
Yeah.
The
And
sharks and the whales.
yeah, and in the 90s, you really liked the hook.
Porpoises.
It's the hook that brings you back.
Oh.
I ain't telling you. I don't see you as Batman, though.
I
No.
didn't see me
No.
as Batman. Apparently,
Tony's
'cause
Batman.
Why?
I was gonna say
No, I
Superman.
don't.
No,
I don't
Tony's
see
I was saying
Superman.
Superman.
See, now I
Because
would
he's
have
the
given.
leader.
See, now I would have given you Robin, and I know that's a little stretch for Justice League. I'll even give you Nightwing.
There
But
you go.
but I give you that. But you don't have that. You're not stern and like serious enough for to be Batman.
That's true.
Like Batman has just like he's so focused on his thing that he doesn't care about, you know. And I don't see that as you because you have that tender side too.
But I don't think any of us
Steven-
on our team was
Steven
Batman
Steve
then,
Trevor.
because I don't see anybody on our squad like that. But that's just me.
To me, Batman's the leader, so you're the leader. You're
I
Batman.
would have put Superman.
Superman's the
I
leader.
don't like Superman.
I think
Nobody
Superman-
likes
Batman's
Superman.
the
Superman is the
Batman's the
best.
strategist. He's the one.
Are we doing me now?
Yes, apparently.
okay.
We're trying to
All right,
decide
so
between
Steven's Aquaman.
Superman
Called it.
and Batman.
Yeah, I say Stevens. Stevens Aquaman or Nightwing.
Aquaman.
Is
Is
that-
official.
can I be Dick Grayson Batman?
Sure.
There we go.
That's Nightwing. Oh, wait, no,
No.
Dick Grayson Batman.
Pre-final or post-final crisis?
Will you stop with the crises?
No
I'm
more
having a
crises.
crisis.
Steven,
You're
I'm
not
done
even-
with you, man.
You're not even 25
I
yet.
haven't it.
All right, so Sadler,
Uh-oh.
Cyborg.
Cyborg,
No,
100%.
No. I would have said Red Tornado
Why?
because Red Tornado's a cyborg.
But so is
Cyborg.
Cyborg's a person, though. I don't know. I don't care.
He's a cyborg.
I'm done with
That's
you,
why his name
Sadler.
is Cyborg?
I just like Red Tornado. Nobody ever talks
This
about Red
whole thing
Tornado.
is falling apart tonight. I don't even fully understand why.
I'm just here, man.
Nick, who would you be if you were a Justice League character?
I have no idea.
Brother Eye.
That's not even.
I don't think we even introduced Nick tonight. This is the first I think we're talking
Oh,
about him.
hey Nick.
Hi, Nick.
No.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, howdy, hey.
I don't know enough DC characters to.
What DC characters do you know? Who would you want to be?
I don't know.
All right, that's the secret. Nick is Batman. That's
I can go
Okay.
for Nick for being Batman.
Nick's Oracle.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's the male
Oh,
oracle.
yeah.
Oh.
Is that okay? It's a little gender
I
bending,
mean,
but
but
Yeah,
Cyborg is kind of like the Oracle of the Justice League.
is he?
Yeah.
I would also take Flash.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
See, I was
no,
thinking
no.
the Flash too.
Nick is Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Oh. That's
it.
good.
That's it. That's it right there. I would want to be Batman because Batman's awesome. I don't know. I feel like everybody would want to be Batman, but dang it, I don't feel like I'm interesting enough to be Batman. Like I feel every time that I want to be cool like Batman, I always like default back to being Superman.
Well, the first
Like-
problem is both your parents are still alive.
That's true. That is true. I want to be like lawful chaotic.
that's a
I want
problem.
to be chaotic good, but I'm always like lawful good. You know, I'm always like swinging it all the way back to follow the rules, Boy Scout law and order
So that
every
would be
time.
Superman.
I've seen you play video games. You are lawful.
I
good.
always do good things. Like I can't help it. My wife makes such fun of me because
She is chaotic evil.
she only plays bad. If she can blow somebody up, she will. And I'm like, no, don't do that in front of what's the little girl's name from the Walking Dead, the video game?
Cheyenne?
Clementine.
Clementine's like, don't do that in front of Clementine. She has to, and then my wife will be like, I'd have just killed him. I'm like,
Tony-
you're the worst.
Tony plays GTA. He stops at the stoplights.
I do. I am
He
He
gets out,
blinkers.
walks an old lady NPC across the thing.
I
He
stay at
uses his
0
blinker all the
stars.
time.
I do. I try. I wish I could be. So who would let us know who you would be if
Wait,
you
we
were?
didn't do EJ.
Yeah, we didn't do EJ.
Oh,
didn't do
I thought we
EJ.
did EJ.
No.
Oh, okay. Who's EJ?
Oh, that's a tough. Martian Manhunter, I guess, would be
Why Martian Manhunter?
because he's very.
Because he's
very
vaguely
wise.
ethnic.
I was like,
Wait.
please don't give me Cyborg because of that.
No, Nick's already cyborg.
Okay.
So.
I thought Nick was Blue Beetle.
Yeah, Nick is
Oh.
Blue Beetle.
Oh.
Firestorm.
You?
Ooh.
Why? Because he's slightly
Because he's
ethnic.
ethnic.
Oh, in my day, Firestorm was. I don't think he was like.
Oh, the
that.
white-
No,
the
I was.
white
Yeah,
women.
there was white. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if this character was part of the Justice League, so I've only seen him from Flash. But Cisco, Ramon,
Is that part of
the
Justice
vibe, no.
No.
I don't even think he's. Is he in the comics?
I don't know.
I don't even. I think
I've
he's
just
just
seen
for
the
the
TV
show.
and I enjoyed.
Yeah, I think he's
him a
just
lot.
in the show.
I feel like EJ would be good.
I'm trying to think of. I'm going through all the Justice League characters in my head.
I don't know Justice
Shazam.
League, so.
Captain Marvel.
I can see
Like,
that.
who's a character that's just like ultra passionate and just goes for it, even though they might mess up, but they just go
Captain
hard.
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
There you go.
Captain
That's it.
Marvel.
Because he's a child.
He is. He's very. He's he's one of the strongest. He's like Superman level strength, but he's got like a real childlike innocence to him. You know, he's just
Hercules
he's
strength.
all go.
Solomon's wisdom. That's all I remember.
Zeus, Achilles, Mercury,
Yeah, he's the speed of Achilles.
or Atlas. Let us know if you know what Shazam stands for. And let us know who you would be. Hashtag if you were. If we were somebody from the Justice League, let us know who you would be. The best way for you to do that is to connect with us on social media. We hang out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Nerd of Godcast. And you can also find our blog at www.nerdofgodcast.com, or you can email us at nerdofgodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to chat with you, connect with you, and exchange whimsical animated GIFs with you. So tonight we want to do something a little bit different that we've never done before, and I have right here a little bucket of shreds of paper, and I'm just going to pass this down. Go ahead and take one out. Don't look at it just yet. Take a small fortune cookie-esque piece of paper out. Don't look at it yet, Neff.
No.
Cheater.
I feel like mine has 2 in there.
I'm not done yet.
You're a looking.
How long does it take you to grab a piece of
I'm making
paper?
sure
Well,
it's
there's
just
supposed to be
one.
2
Choosing
in
the
each
right
one?
one.
No, there's just one.
It's folded.
Steven making sure that we get our Foley work in
Ah,
there.
nah, nah,
See,
Steven,
that's
you're
what I
not
was
supposed to take
trying
one.
I put the one I grabbed back.
Cheetah!
Yeah, I got
Take
one.
one.
Take him in the back. Time to put him down.
Steven's trying to plot my murder.
EJ, you go ahead and just take 2 out. Go ahead and take one more out, please.
One more.
One more, please.
You said
And then
try.
pass it back.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Jackie, you take one out. I'll take another one. And then- so what everyone's going to do is, as you're taking these things out, we asked our Twitter followers to give us random quotes. And this is sort of like one of those games on Whose Line Is It Anyway? You guys have got these quotes, and I want you to just kind of read them.
We can read them now.
In just a moment. You can read them and then treasure them. And at some point tonight, if you can fit that quote into our conversation, then you will get a point. Now, each of you guys are going to be playing for one of our Twitter followers, and if you can get yours off without us knowing that your quote is obviously a quote, then your Twitter follower is going to win a prize from the Nerd of God stash. So
like, is there a word that we all can say when we're trying to like call out? That's a quote.
yeah, I think that you can
You
just
can
say.
just say that's a quote.
Oh well, that's not fun.
Yeah, you can just. But the thing is that's problematic is most of them are so ridiculously random. It's going to be really hard
I'm
to
so
fit
sorry
these
for
things in
whoever I'm
there.
playing
Look
for.
So yeah,
You
go
told me to
ahead
put
and look.
Cafe in there.
Go ahead and look. We have all drawn something out, and you can keep.
Mine can only work in one specific conversation.
Well,
This one's really long.
they're all a little long. I will tell you, some of the things that were tweeted into us were exceptionally random. So I don't know. So that's that is what it is.
Well then.
So those are things we're gonna try to work these little catchphrases in as naturally as we can.
I know exactly who I'm playing for because I saw some of these tweets.
Okay, all right. Well, the person who submitted the quote is not the person you're playing for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Jackie.
that's a good
I
thing.
have
Alright,
no
now I don't-
idea what I'm supposed
Well-
to do with this.
These are things I would never say. So I am sorry, whoever I'm playing for.
I would say both of these things, but I don't know how I'm going to make it work. Unless
Yeah, because you say ridiculous things. I don't.
So awful.
you say some ridiculous things sometimes.
You are.
Are you guys having a moment? What's happening over
It
there?
was definitely a.
They were like looking into
That
each
was
other's eyes.
Yeah, I was staring him down.
Yeah.
Who do you
no.
think you are? I
There were
am.
daggers.
She was trying to decide if she wanted to vomit on you or claw your esophagus out. All right, so we're gonna now we're gonna play a game. Bible time, person, place, or thing. It's kind of like a little journey to Nountown, but Bible version of Nountown. So I've got these clues. They're from the Action Bible. The Action Bible Guess It game, brought to you by our good friends over at David Cook Publications, available at your local Christian bookstore. This game is harder than you think it might be. So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity. It's going to be table versus tables. So there's a little bit of a handicap because one table has EJ and Jackie, and the other one has Neff, Jessica, and Steven. So there's a little bit of a handicap. So we're going to go ahead and give EJ and Jackie Nick also. So Nick, you are playing for this table. So you with us,
I'll
Nick?
do my best.
So you gotta turn on your light, turn the camera towards you.
No, you don't have to. We'll just the disembodied voice is Nick. So because this team is a little bit off kilter, we're gonna go ahead and give EJ and Jackie and Nick first shot to pick person, place, or thing.
What you want?
Person.
Let's
All
do
right, we got person. Now the clue that I'm gonna give you, I've got 20 clues. Now you have to decide how many clues you want to get your answer. How many clues you want to get your answer. And then we're going to give the other team an opportunity to underbid you. I only want 2 clues or what have you. So you start with 20, and now bid how many clues you want. Actually, let's go ahead and just get to the top 10 just so we can save it. So you got 10. How many of those 10 clues do you want?
No, EJ, make the decision. I can't make
And
decisions.
just keep in mind, these are not all easy. They're tricky.
Let's go 4.
4. Okay. Do you guys think you can do less than 4?
Yes.
Can we? I was gonna say let's go 6. 'Cause
Yes,
we don't get it in
Steven.
4. Dadgummit.
But you can't go more.
All right, let's go 3 then. Apparently, because Neff already answered.
Okay.
Let's do it, fish boy.
Without
Fantastic.
disgusting.
So that if they don't get it in 3, then you guys get the point. And here it goes like this. I dug through a wall with my hands. I dug through a wall with my hands.
Good. We got 2 more chances, guys.
No guess?
Wait, so both tables had the opportunity to guess right now.
Nope. They have the opportunity to guess, and then you guys get the 4th one, and then if not,
Okay.
then whatever. We're making this up as we go. All right. Second guess. I quoted "like mother, like daughter." Like mother, like daughter. This is a person in the Bible. Third clue. I ate a scroll. I ate a scroll.
Take a guess. That's our last
We're
clue.
gonna go with Boaz.
Boaz is incorrect.
Sounds like someone from the Old Testament.
Incorrect. So we're going to give you guys the 4th
I
clue.
made a scroll. I know that one too. I'm not-
And if you guys get it correct, then you know. You get the point. I
did
lay on my left side for 390 days.
Oh, dang it. Nick.
I lay on my left side for
That's the last clue,
390
so-
days.
So we just have to guess, right?
If you know what the answer is, yeah.
Daniel.
No, it's not Daniel. All right, so we're going to give you guys the next clue, and we'll go back and forth and give you the opportunity to guess as the
Okay.
clues go. Does that make sense? That's kind of fair, right?
Sure.
I drew a picture of Jerusalem.
Jessica.
You know, just take a guess. I
I
don't
don't know,
know.
Elijah.
No,
No.
sorry.
Oh,
I saw wheels made of topaz.
Is it John?
No, sorry. I'm a major prophet.
Is it Isaiah?
No.
I was gonna.
I had a vision of a new temple.
Ezekiel.
It is Ezekiel.
Hey!
Circle gets the
That's
square. All right.
hard.
Now we're going over to you guys. Do you have a name for your team?
I just named them Table 1 and Table 2.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, would
I was
you
giving you the
like,
opportunity to say
what's-
we're the Revengers.
Not all teams need a name.
Person, place, or thing, Revengers.
Defenestrators.
Okay.
That's not an option.
Is defenestrator, does that mean you're making a window in something?
Yeah.
Is that really it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
fantastic.
but it sounds like you're defending something.
Let's go with a place.
We're going with place. All right. So how many clues? How many of 10 do you want?
5.
5 of 10. Do you guys want to underbid that?
So real quick, with the underbidding, do we get like more points?
No, it's just that you get first crack at it if you win. So you get the first however many guesses.
Yeah, let's do 4.
4.
YOLO.
Okay.
Oh, he tries to like go off mic, and we can totally.
Do you
hear
guys want to go less than 4?
it. No.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is a place. I'm about 5 miles south of Jerusalem.
Okay. Next.
I'm in Judea. Boaz and Ruth married here.
AJ's face.
And your 4th clue, all young boys here were killed.
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, right?
Bethlehem is correct.
Go, Sadler and Jackie.
You give him the like second easiest city.
Nick didn't say
For the
anything.
record, I
Nick
didn't
just-
say anything.
I just,
You're on
I
our
just
team,
read
Sadler.
Ruth, so
The
it's-
cup runneth over.
All right, so I guess we're going back over here to Team Sadler.
I would have said Egypt.
Person, place, or thing. That's you guys.
Oh, it's us?
Uh-huh.
Sadler pick.
Thing.
Thing it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Dead Sea Scroll.
All right, you got 10 clues. How many 10 do you need?
Sadler.
5.
Yeah.
5 it is.
We're going 4.
Okay, you guys want to answer
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Why not?
No, let's not do this.
All right, so 4 it is. All right, going to the Revengers now. According to Hosea, some consult me. According to Isaiah, some people trust me. According to Isaiah, I cannot save. According to Exodus, don't make me.
Oh, want me to guess?
Yeah.
Idols.
Circle gets the square.
Nice. Good job,
Good
guys.
job.
Don't touch me.
Is
Steven,
that
I swear
last
to
one
God.
that
That was good. That was really good. Well played. All right, so we're going to go back over to you guys. Person, place, or thing.
Person.
It's their team.
Oh,
Steven.
Oh.
I was like, I don't know
Sorry.
what's
Sorry,
going
it's
on.
okay.
Person.
Person it is.
Person.
Okay. 10 clues. How many do you need?
4.
4. Do you guys want to answer 4?
You mean 3?
No.
No.
Nope, we're going to give it to him with 4.
I thought not.
Here we go.
I'm gonna fight.
Yeah, put right here.
I trace Jesus' lineage back to Abraham.
Oh.
I think I know what it is. Let's
Wait
go
for
for
it.
it. Let's
Wait for
let's get some more.
You
Just
sure?
to be sure. 'Cause I think I know who it is.
If you get it on the first clue, I'm going to give you double points.
It's a
Matthew.
It's a person.
Matthew is correct. Double points.
Damn.
Stephen, all's forgiven. I love you. It's all good now.
All right, person, place, or thing, you guys.
Do place.
Yeah, let's do place.
Place.
All right, place it is. Here we go.
I don't like making decisions.
How many clues do you want out of 10?
4.
4.
4. Do you guys want to go less than 4?
Yeah. No.
That's right.
No, let's
chose or got the right answer the first time.
Jessica
Wait,
gave
is
you
this
a look
wait,
like
is this a place?
it is a place.
Yeah, no. We'll stay. We'll let them do 4.
All right,
Yeah.
4 it is.
Good luck.
Paul wanted to bring a gift here.
Do you know it?
I'll want to go lots of places.
Second one. Claudius lived here. Acts ends here. I'm sometimes equated with Babylon. That's the end of your clues.
Declanica?
That's a made-up word.
I think he meant.
The mascara.
All right, we're gonna. You can't guess again. All right.
Because I think I know it.
We're going to take it over here to you guys, give you an opportunity. Paul was a citizen here.
Wow, which is Jackie apparently knows.
I was right.
You don't have to scream.
I'm sorry.
She didn't scream. She bellowed that with a righteous
Yes.
anger.
Yes. Yes.
You know what it
Go
is?
ahead.
Jessica?
Go ahead, Jess.
Rome?
Yes.
He's a Roman citizen.
I just remembered he was a
Rome.
Roman citizen. That's right.
Rome is correct.
I was trying to
I'm
think.
so
I'm like,
sorry
he
for
gets special
screaming.
privileges
Or-
for being a citizen.
Or what did you say? Decalonica?
I think you meant Thessalonica.
That's okay.
That's what I meant.
It's
Thessalonica?
okay. It's all right. There might be a
Thessalonians.
Decalonians. I don't know. I might not know. You're probably right.
Decathlon.
All right, we'll give that one back to you guys. It's your turn.
Tracheotomy.
Person.
Person it is.
You guys want to do something else?
Yeah, I'm
No,
cool with
you're-
person.
Okay. What do you guys have already? Do you have a place?
Everything.
We have 3, but we had double points on the second
No,
one.
but
Well,
you
we
have a
have
person,
person,
place, and a
place,
thing.
and
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
So all right. So we got a person. How many out of 10?
4.
4 out of 10. You guys want to go less than that? It might be time. They're getting ahead of you.
3.
Oh. Do we do 2?
Okay.
Can we go 2?
You guys want to go too?
No.
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 Okay.
Well, we're just gonna.
Unless I know this on the first time, like, we're sure.
Then
Well-
right now, here's your clue, EJ, Jackie, and Nick. In 3, I got more press than my husband did. I asked, how will this be? John took care of me. Those are your 3 clues. Nicholas, you got anything?
No.
I got more press than my husband did. I asked, how will this be? And John took care of me. talking it out. They're discussing their ideas. They're coming up with. They're whispering back and forth.
It's a shame I can't read lips.
Sorry, Sadler.
But they're covering their mouths anyway.
Get ready to steal.
Steven.
Let's say Mary.
Mary is correct.
Which Mary? Which Mary? There are several Marys. Specify which Mary.
No.
Do you really
No.
want to do that?
Thank
Which
you, Tony.
Mary?
Which
I
Mary?
don't know. I
There are
just know
several
Mary.
Wait. Give me the card here. All right.
fine.
Hold on. I
said
got
it on the cards.
I got more press than my husband did. I asked, "How will this be?" And John took care of me. Which Mary?
I don't know.
I know.
So go ahead and take
Wait,
the
wait,
points.
I know.
Don't take it.
No. They're not taking it.
Jesus
This is your card.
Mom, Mary.
But if you get this right, I'm going to double your
Wait.
points because Steven challenged
Wait,
you.
Nick just talked.
Nick,
It's-
Nick,
it's
Nick
your-
just said something.
It's your
just
card,
said it.
Nicholas.
it's not Mary Magdalene. It's the I don't know how to distinguish her, but
The
You
Mary
just
from
did.
Mary and Martha.
You just did, Nick.
Yeah.
Say what you said.
You say what you
Hold
said.
on. I got more press than my husband did. I asked,
Yeah.
"How will this be?" John took care of me. Which Mary
never
is it?
mind. Mary Magdalene.
No!
Oh,
You still get the point. It's Jesus' mom.
Yeah.
You said
Which is
that,
what
Nick.
Nick had said when they were
That's what I
discussing.
said.
Yeah.
That is
Why
what
don't
he
you
said.
stick with it
Excuse me again.
then?
Yeah, you got it. You still get the point.
Nick,
But
stop
Steven
guessing
challenged you,
yourself.
so I was going to give you a chance to double your points.
I just challenged because they just went Mary. Like they just threw a name out there. I was just
Miriam.
wondering if they actually knew which
Is
Mary.
that wrong?
Is that wrong?
There's
Steven?
a lot of people in the Bible.
Yeah, but there are several Marys that could have accounted for.
Elijah.
I mean, I would have said
But
the
we
same
weren't
thing. I would have
just
said Mary
guessing any
too.
random Mary. Like we were like, okay, well maybe this is Mary.
Mary.
We just can't remember what the last name was.
She didn't have a last name.
Mary Smith. Neff. Person, place, or thing. Thing it is.
It's their turn
Oh, it's your turn?
because they underbid us.
Oh, that's true. Excuse me. Back over to you guys. Person, place, or thing.
Find that.
Thing.
Jackie.
No, let's do thing.
Nick says thing. All right, here we go. Out of 10.
All right. Well, that kind of worked
4.
out.
4 out of 10.
3. We're going 3.
Doing it.
Okay.
Doing it.
Are
You
we
guys gonna
going-
go? You want to go
No,
to
Going
2?
two guys?
I'm
Doing
not
it, doing
no.
it.
Okay,
Doing
no,
it well.
no.
And then Nick goes 1.
What would you think on this
Come
podcast?
on.
He said
bring
sure.
It.
Right.
Did you?
No, Sadler, no.
So they're going 3. Do you guys want to go 2?
No.
I vote no.
No.
Okay, so 2 out of 3.
Majority
Sorry,
rules.
Sadler.
It's a gutsy move. I'm just saying. I'd be super impressed. All right.
How many best we get this in 3?
In 3.
Yep.
I come from God.
Well, that's good.
Dang, lots of things come from
That
That's
was
a
nice
good
of
start,
him.
I guess.
Hang on. Never mind.
Not your turn. It's not your
your
turn.
turn.
What are you doing, Nick?
I know.
It's not your turn.
Relax.
Don't help them.
I'm a command.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm better than life.
I think I know what it is. But
Then
I'm
say
not
it.
sure. Love?
Love is correct.
Nice.
Yeah, Steven.
All right.
Nice.
Bringing it back over here. Neff, person, place, or thing.
Place.
Place it is. All right. Out of 10.
Sure. We'll go 4.
You guys want to go better than 4?
Let's do 3.
Let's go 3.
3.
They're going 3. Can you do 2?
Let's go 3.
No, they can't do
I
that.
know.
Well,
You gonna do 2?
no.
Okay.
We do not.
No.
2 angels visited here. EJ and Jackie and Nick. 2 angels visited here.
Hold on.
I think
You still have
If I get it on the first try, we get double points?
double points.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
We're looking for Sodom and Gomorrah. Double
Very good.
points.
Nice.
Very nice.
nicely
High
done.
five.
Let's go
Nick.
5 to
Sadler.
Nick.
Technically,
five.
those are 2 places.
Should we get you a diaper, Steven? She's being a big baby right now.
All right. I think it's
obviously joking.
Nick, person, place, or no, Jackie, person, place, or thing.
Let's do person.
Person. I think we got 2 rounds left, you guys.
Yeah, there's a baby.
All right, what are our scores right now? We have
It's tied
Wow.
5 to 5.
it is 5 to 5.
Oh, man.
All right. So we'll do 2 more, and if it's still a tie, we'll do a lightning round. All right. So we did. This is a person. How many out of 10?
4.
4. No, let's do 4.
4.
4 out of 10. Can you guys do 3?
Let's do 3.
1 for 3.
Why not? We've been Price is
Can-
writing this all.
Can
all game.
you do 2?
I don't want
All right. So we'll give it to you guys for 3. All right, your first clue is this. I pastored a church in Ephesus.
Oh, I have two things. I don't know which one it is.
Well, if you guess
Well,
wrong,
there's
we
2
get
more
it.
clues.
I know, but I want to get this one because I want to do it on the
Double
first one
points.
because we get double points.
Don't mess this up, Salisbury.
Don't ruin this for me.
Second
You're
clue.
going back on
Okay,
the
we're going
plate.
to second clue.
I joined Paul's team.
Okay, good. I'm glad I waited for the second clue.
You definitely know it now.
Just say it.
Timothy.
It is Timothy.
I was going between Timothy and Paul, and I was like, oh, is it Timothy or is it Paul?
Timothy McVeigh.
It is
No.
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 What is wrong with you?
How do you even?
Okay.
Sorry.
Person.
I just realized what that was. It's just the first name popped in my mind. Cut that. I
Person.
forgot. I forgot who that was. I just
Person,
remembered.
place, or thing. I think
Oh,
it's
it's
you
our
guys.
turn.
I think it is.
I
I
am
don't know who's
ashamed.
keeping track anymore.
Shame.
Let's do
on me.
person.
Person. Here we go.
Feels so dirty.
Wait,
Out of 10.
3.
Can you do 2?
Is this the last question?
Yes, it is.
2.
It will be if they get it right.
If they get it right, it's the final one.
Well,
But if you guys get it in 2, then you'll steal it, and we'll go into the lightning round.
guys, how do you
Let's go.
feel?
Let's go 1.
You're gonna go 1.
What?
If we don't get it and they get it right, it goes on one more round. If we get it, then we win. We're right now
yeah,
by
there
going
you go.
1, we're eliminating their chance
math.
to take the lead with this one.
That's true. Let's go for it.
Okay.
1.
But ask the number 1 thing on there. Don't ask number 10.
Number 10.
Watch the first one be the most vague one.
My brother was 3 years older than me.
Jacob.
I'm just kidding. That wasn't the first
Oh.
clue.
There, he was a twin. He was a twin.
Yeah, anyway.
Deduct points.
Sorry.
Hey, listen. Sometimes twins are not the same age.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Jessica.
Anyway, go.
Okay.
What is it?
Your real first clue. Sorry. My father-in-law gave me some good advice.
I think I know what it is. Wait. Let's discuss this. Yes.
They're
Okay.
talking.
Moses.
Moses is correct.
Jessica.
We'll give it
boom.
to him, and that's our game right now. Congratulations to the Revengers. Everybody did a great job. Give yourselves a big hand. Awesome job. And this has been the Action Bible Guess It game.
I almost said no.
That's why I was like, wait, let's talk real quick.
I don't know if that was the best game we've ever done, but it is time for the best thing we've ever done. It's the best thing ever. What's the weirdest movie that you have ever seen with your movie pass?
Oh, we saw this.
No. I would say Logan Lucky is the
Logan
weirdest movie that we've seen.
I don't know. Well, yeah. I
Would you
guess
go? Can
technically.
you go see like art films and stuff like that?
Oh,
It
we have.
depends on the theater and what the theater is playing.
There's
the way,
one called- There's one called The Enzian that plays a lot of
Yeah.
independent films.
Yeah.
Like we saw one that was like a film that was almost completely in Yiddish.
In Yiddish?
yeah, that might have been the weirdest one.
It
Yes,
was, it was about a Jewish man who
he was a Hasidic Jew or
living
Orthodox
in,
Jew
I believe
in New York.
Yeah,
And just trying to raise his son. His wife died.
trying to get his son back.
and
Yeah,
according to like their local rabbi who's like in charge of their
the Rev
the Ruv
Ruv.
RUV
nailed it.
and but he was that part of Run DMC.
Run, Rev, Rev, run.
It's Ruv.
Run.
See,
But
Rev,
according-
run,
according-
run, Rev, run.
According to his Ruv, you can't raise a child in a family without a mother and a father.
So we know what he did. He raised the roof.
Ooh, ooh.
Neff, the things you say make my heart feel like a walrus in love on a summer evening in Tibet.
That's a quote.
Oh!
Number one, you were reading it.
Well, it's a long quote, but
It's well said.
yeah.
So now let me ask you, before we get into best thing ever, this is a real thing to think about. Like, you guys like seeing weird movies like that.
I love independent
EJ
movies.
doesn't have the tolerance for weird movies that you guys do.
And this is okay. I want to be honest. I'm doing this to be able to spend more time with Neff and Steven because I know they watch weird
But
movies.
what if they take you to see like some kind of like Icelandic foreign film or something like that?
We went and saw a film completely in Yiddish.
Like I'm opening,
Would you do that?
I'm expanding my horizons.
Because if
Yes.
you've seen one
Listen, man.
Icelandic film, you've seen them all.
Listen, last night I saw a film festival, a short film festival
Yeah.
that had movies from all around the world.
Did you watch it with Movie Pass?
When
I
I
did.
saw truth be told, the moment I saw Movie Pass on Facebook, I immediately thought of Stephen and Neff, and I thought this will be something that will
Listen.
help us bond more.
For sure.
So that's
I'm
why I
glad you
got
have it. You're going to be getting a lot of text every day.
Yeah.
Just be ready to be part of that group.
This movie quote has been brought to you by my quote. If you've seen one Icelandic silent film, you've seen them all. Congratulations, everybody.
Wow, that's
Well said. Well,
that was
Nailed
very
it.
good.
See, the thing is that Steven and Neff, you guys had a perfect opportunity to use one of your quotes because you could have just said, "Yeah, this is something they said in the movie. It was so funny."
Yeah, but if EJ hadn't ham-fisted his in, I could have done that because then everyone else is on like alert
So,
except Tony, who
And
set
no one
up,
was on alert
set
for
it
that.
up like a minute before talking about Icelandic movies.
Well, okay, I'm not understanding the game, so I did it wrong.
You're
I'm
supposed to
being
make it
honest.
sound
No,
like
you,
it's
you
part
didn't
of
do
your
it wrong.
conversation.
You just did it obviously.
Yes.
Gotcha.
You got to build to it.
All
Yeah.
right.
But that's okay. That's
You
why we
can't
give
let-
you. That's why we give you two.
So
And honestly, that would have been hard to fit in any conversation, no matter
I'm
what.
surprised you did it as well as you did.
It's like, okay, EJ's just saying something funny.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were doing. I just thought you were being weird with it, and I was like, okay,
I roll.
I dig it.
So anyway, that totally random segue brought to you by Best Thing Ever.
wait, what's the point of that segue?
We just took a little trip on a movie thing because I remembered I needed to be getting more of my quotes done.
Oh,
Hey,
so you
hey,
wait. So you
Unfair
took Movie
advantage.
Pass, knowing that one of your quotes is about
Yep.
movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there you
Nice
go.
strategy.
I used the elements. Are you okay?
I joked a little bit.
Okay,
Steven's
you're
losing his
definitely
get.
you're drowning. You're definitely not Aquaman.
Is that one of your quotes?
Bested by a bottle of water. All right. Well, tonight's best thing ever,
Can
Space
you
Ace Edition. Last week we had a great one of the best, most exciting rounds that we've had. It was Han Solo versus Star-Lord. Now we're going through our bracket system here, putting all of our space aces against one another, and this was one of the ones that I knew was going to be the most challenging, the most exciting, and was probably going to be the most divisive. Did anybody check and see who actually won this thing
No.
already?
I did not.
I did.
You
I've been
did.
so busy
I
all
did.
week.
Now this
with
is.
stuff.
Did you vote?
I don't think so.
Call it right now.
I
Let's
voted.
Go, let's go.
who?
Let's go down the line of Han Solo or Peter Quill, Star-Lord.
Han Solo.
Call Han Solo. Jessica,
I can't remember who I voted for.
who do you feel like you would have voted for?
Probably Solo.
Solo. Steve.
Han Solo.
Han Solo. EJ. Peter Quill.
Peter.
Peter.
Better.
So Jackie, you saw it. Who did you vote for?
I voted for Mr. Star-Lord.
Star-Lord,
Mr.
legendary
Oh,
outlaw.
Mr.
Legendary
Star-Lord.
outlaw.
Well, this only happens once in a blue moon, but if you look at our Twitter results, it is a 50-50 tie
Ooh, hot dog.
between Star-Lord and Han Solo,
That's a good day.
which means that we don't have a clear-cut winner. So,
You know what that means?
Call.
We're gonna.
Will Friedle.
Yeah.
there is behind you, Jackie. There's a little blue cable. If you don't mind fetching that for me, I'm going to. We're gonna make a phone call. We're gonna ask for a tie-breaking vote.
Are we gonna call Will Friedle? That'll like make my childhood dreams come
I
true.
don't have Will Friedle's home phone
Harrison
number
Ford.
anymore. We're gonna call Harrison Ford, and then
And
we're gonna
Chris
call
Pratt.
Chris Pratt, and
Put him
whichever
on
one
a group-
answers.
Group talk.
EJ, for about a fraction of a second, was extremely excited before he realized that wasn't true. He looked over like, and then
So let's make a phone call real quick right now.
We're calling a Harrison Ford impersonator.
No, actually, I didn't really
Get
think
off my phone.
I didn't really think this one through.
wait,
So,
no, that was,
I don't
that
know
was
who we're
like
calling.
Was that supposed to be
Just scrolling
Clint
down my.
Eastwood saying "Get off my lawn"?
No,
Let's
that
see.
was get off my plane.
Oh,
All right, hopefully we have some audio here.
get off my plane.
Okay, let's see if this works. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I hope I'm not calling this person too late. Sorry.
It's loud.
Here we go.
Depends on where you're calling.
Hopefully it's.
Hello.
Hi, is this Lindsay Cannon?
It is.
Lindsay Cannon, this is Tony from the Nerd of Godcast, and you are on the air with us right now. Hope I didn't catch you at a bad time.
No, it's fine.
Oh, fantastic.
Is that the first lady of Phosphorus?
This is the first lady of Frostproof Florida. Yes. And we need your help tonight, and it can only be you. You are the chosen one. Do you have a moment to help us with something tonight?
Sure.
Okay, fantastic. Now, we have a little segment on our show that we call Best Thing Ever. Are you familiar with it?
I am.
Great. And this season we've been doing a Space Ace edition, and it has come down on our final on this last round to Han Solo from the Star Wars universe versus Peter Quill, the Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. And it is a 50-50 tie, and we need a tiebreaker. And since Chris Pratt and Harrison Ford aren't taking my calls tonight, we decided we're going to call you. You are our winner of the random first person I thought of phone contest. And it is up to you. You flip a coin, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Ask your kids, whatever you got to do. But you got 10 seconds, and we need you to make a vote. This is democracy.
I have to go Han Solo. I gotta go with my gut.
Han Solo.
Yes.
Now, do you have a particular reason why?
I don't. I don't. I like both of them, but I don't know. Maybe it's the whole tried and true. Like, he's been around for decades now as Han Solo.
He had been around.
We know he stands the test of time.
He does indeed, and he always shoots first. Well, thank you so much, First Lady of Frostproof, Lindsay Cannon. You've been on the show before, always a great friend. We are going to hook you up with something from our prize stash for being our tiebreaker tonight. Thank you so much for being part of the best thing
Ever.
Say hi to the family for me, and sorry for calling you so late. Bye-bye.
No, it's fine. Bye.
Well, that was fun.
We should do that more often. We should have a segment where we just call
Just
people.
randomly call people. Back in 1989, I started watching the David Letterman show every single day. I would stay up late to watch Letterman, and he had a segment on there where it was called "How Much Gas Is in Joe Frazier's Tank," and he would call former boxing champion Joe Frazier, Smoking Joe Frazier, and he would just ask him how much gas he has in his car, and that was it. That was the whole segment. Let's just call up Joe Frazier and find out how much gas he has. I don't know what the relationship is, but maybe we just call Lindsay every week and ask her how much gas she has. So Lindsay Cannon has cast the vote, and tonight we have decided Han Solo moves on to the next round of our best thing ever.
Did that yawning? I'm sorry.
Are we putting you to sleep, Steven?
No, something else put me to sleep.
Now, let me tell you a true story. I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, couldn't go back to sleep, so I was up. I got up and I watched a little TV, and ended up coming in for a men's prayer meeting this morning. So I drove my son to school. I'm here at church a little bit before 7 o'clock. And man, that started wearing on me. Around the 3 o'clock hour, I'm in my office and I'm working, and Nolan Clifton from across the hallway says, "Are you okay in there?" And I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "You keep yawning over and over again." He said, "I thought Steven was here."
Really?
Apparently, you are known for yawning.
Apparently.
Well, I'm gonna start calling you Yanni.
You mentioned yawning. And
Now, all
yawn.
across our listening audience right now, people are yawning and they're going, "Steve-o!"
Sorry.
Shaking their fist at you. Okay, so tonight we have our next round of Best Thing Ever. We want you guys to get on our Twitter page and vote. Twitter.com/NerdGodcast. Use hashtag Best Thing Ever, and you can find us on there. But this round of our Best Thing Ever Space Ace Edition is going to be Star Fox versus Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Sorry, Star Fox.
So it could go either way.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Get on there and vote. Let us know who you think is going to be this week's best thing. And
Star Fox isn't very rooted in science.
no?
No.
Well, sometimes it's the science that makes the difference between what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
So
Can your science explain why it rains?
That's a quote.
That is a quote. I saw it on Twitter.
One down, one to go.
it's good. It was a good setup. You started laying the right track there. Next time we have to do it where people message me privately so you guys can't see the quotes ahead of time. I think that was where
Yeah.
Yeah,
our
because like
plan
now I'm
went
nervous
awry.
to say mine because it's like if you've already read it, then it's not even. I had no chance,
You had no chance.
even if I made it inconspicuous.
You're a good guy, man. Thank
I
you for being a
only
good
have one
guy.
that could be
Inconspicuous.
inconspicuous.
And you're never inconspicuous. Even if
I'm
you
sometimes
think
inconspicuous.
I'm
Super
still
conspicuous.
confused about this game, guys. Okay, so did I get the point for mine?
you are. No.
No.
Why not?
The whole
Because we
point
caught
is it
you.
needs to sound like you just like it doesn't even sound like you're reading the quote.
I don't like this game.
We
It's
need
basically,
to.
it's
we need-
basically shenanigans with quotes.
Well, mine wasn't fair. You guys knew mine.
That's true. You got robbed a little bit there. I'm
If
sorry.
it w- if,
You
if, the,
okay
if the
though?
quotes were a
I
little
mean-
shorter, I think I killed this. But my quotes are long.
No, yeah, that one was weird.
I'm gonna
I mean,
really
if
try
it
for this
wasn't
next
like
one.
you were like who shot who in the what now, it's not like that was your quote or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that your quote?
Nope, I made that up.
Who's trying to who in the what now?
Tony probably could have guessed. I say that all the time.
He says it all the time.
You shot who in the what now?
It's from The Simpsons.
It is.
The guy with
who in the what now?
Jasper, is that
Jasper,
his name?
yeah.
man.
That's
Old man yells at cloud.
Hey,
No,
wait,
No,
that's-
that's Grandpa.
that's Grandpa.
it is way later than it probably should be for us to be starting right now. I'm looking at the
Yes.
clock on the wall, and you know what time it is?
What's up?
10-10.
It's time for the return of Neff News.
Yay!
That's right. And this time, it's personal. I'm just kidding. It's permanent.
That's right. Listen, so in the interest at the beginning of season 3 of saving some time, which I anticipated that we were going to get our episodes down to about the 42-minute mark. Shut up, you guys.
Oh, well.
At the beginning of season 3, I thought we're going to get this thing we're going to nail it down and we're going to streamline it. So let's get rid of some of these recurring segments. Neff News was one of the ones that ended up going, and looking back, I regret it. I miss Neff News, so we're bringing it back at least until such time as it stops being a fun diversion. Neff,
Neff News too.
give us all the news that we can use.
All right. Hey, everybody, welcome to Neff News. My name is Neff.
Hi, Neff.
Hi, Neff.
Hi, Neff.
Today's news is brought to you by weddings. Weddings. Looks good on paper until you get the paper that matters. The receipt. Thanks for barely covering my suit part-time job. Shout out to the Ricards who just got married this weekend.
In the suit company's defense, it was a lot of suit.
Well, it's a lot of material. That's fair. That's fair.
Neff and I go past Men's Warehouse and straight to Circus Tents R Us.
Hey, we look good in stripes, okay?
They're very
Neff,
slimming.
I will
They're
say,
slimming.
though, I will be honest, man. You look good, man.
You look great.
My
dude.
best
look
friend got
good.
married over the weekend, and I was his best man. And so that's what we're
Neff
all
was
about.
a
Best man
great,
speech.
great
Yeah.
best man.
Yes.
Did a great toast. Great
Do
speech.
you still have the speech on your phone? Read it right now.
No, don't. Move on.
I saw him flick his phone like he was going to. He was like,
He would.
Okay.
Neff would.
Moving
Don't
on.
do it, Neff.
That's what Neff News is.
Moving on.
Neff News. It's just a recap of the Ricard wedding.
7 years ago, in movie news, Bradley Cooper is rumored to have been offered the role of WWE owner Vince McMahon in the upcoming biopic chronicling McMahon's life.
Interesting.
Why?
Although no official casting for the role has been made, the thought of Cooper as the brash boss of battling behemoths is titillating to think of. Ain't nobody like me, except me, Austin. It was me the whole time.
It's like 2 episodes in a row we've quoted.
I know.
It's like 12% of a
Hey,
cage
Austin.
match. You stepped on my joke, Steven. It's all right. It wasn't much of a joke.
It was 12% of a joke.
Oh. Simmer down, Aquaman.
That's tough. You just attacked him out of nowhere.
Well,
Dude, that's what you did the whole first half of this episode.
that's why evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
Is that a quote?
Quote.
Yeah, it is. Crap.
It's a quote.
All right, go ahead.
All right. In video game news, PS Plus owners have the it's PlayStation Plus, by the way, not like Porsche seats
Or-
owners.
Or Postscript Plus.
Yeah. PlayStation Plus owners have the best treat of the season. No tricks involved. October's free games of the month were announced today, including Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and both Amnesia games. The
Oh, I
Dark
forgot
Descent
about those.
and A Machine for Pigs.
Oh,
Sorry.
I do the jokes.
this is my segment.
Sorry, I forgot our cadence here.
The Amnesia games are widely considered to be the games that jump-started the survival horror renaissance of the past few years, and is also known as one of the scariest game franchises ever made.
Whoa.
When asking a young gamer about how they felt while playing the game, they were playing, "Ah!"
Ow.
What did we say about yelling?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh man.
My excitement earlier made me yell. Jackie getting scared last episode made her yell. It was all just in the moment.
Spontaneous.
That was scripted. He could have leaned back.
When you wrote that, did you write it in all caps?
How many H's are in there?
Yeah, it is.
How many? Yeah, how,
How
many
many
H's?
One.
There's,
two,
I'm
three,
guessing there's 4
5,
A's and 7 H's.
8, 9.
Why would you guess that
There's
specific
one
number,
A
Steven?
and 10 H's.
No,
And
that's
an
sad. No,
exclamation point.
if you don't have enough A's, that's a satisfying. Instead of being that's like
when asked
Which
your
is much
name-
weirder
when-
answer
That
to.
is much weirder.
Let's talk about Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
I have a
That game
headache
is
because I'm
weird.
laughing so much this episode. This is crazy.
That game is weird. There are literally like I think at one point there's like cheeseburgers that like attack you
I'm listening.
in the game.
I've had that dream before.
Yeah. I tell you, a quarter pounder with cheese has never attacked me in public. Never
That's a
once.
quote.
A quarter pounder with cheese has never attacked me.
Oh, very good. Did you know
Wait,
that one?
what?
Did you know that
Was
one?
that
Yes.
really your
Oh,
quote?
Are you
She
serious?
knew it though.
It was a. You have
That's
to make
not
these
fair.
private.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because like I don't even
But
want to
like
say
that? You like-
mine.
I took
That
that
was part of
You left it
Neff-
open.
That was
hook, line, and sinker,
That was
man.
good.
I was.
Whoa.
That's how you do that.
that was good. I thought it might have been a quote, but I was on the
Wait,
fence
so
about
are
it.
you
Welcome to
telling
Neff News, mother lovers.
Are you telling me?
Wait, is that a quote?
No.
Wait, for real though. Back up. So there's no cheeseburgers that attack you in the
No.
game.
Oh, you got Tony hard. He was like, I'm in. Yeah.
What is
I'm
happening
listening.
here?
Cheeseburgers that attack you? That sounds amazing.
Amnesia 4, Food Fighters.
And so the tables have turned. I ate you, and now you have eaten me.
It's like they rebooted Burger Time as survival horror.
Oh, man.
All right. And
Steven, stop yawning.
Sorry, it's late.
Like that yawn turned into a snort at the end.
It's a yort.
It's like a
Just
wee
yorded.
snaw. Wee snaw.
Is there any more news?
There's one more. Okay. In comic book news, in the newest Batman comics, the Dark Knight finally pulls the trigger on his relationship with Catwoman. That's right, Batman has proposed to his longtime love interest in Batman number 24. Her answer was released yesterday, but I won't spoil the response. Let's just say Robin will have to find another superhero to sleep right next to in another bed that's so close it might as well be the same bed. Wink, wink.
That took a dark turn.
Did
So did Batman propose to Catwoman, or
He
did
did.
Bruce Wayne propose to Selena Kyle?
Both. Like he in the
They know.
Batman
They know.
costume.
They know who they are, though.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure. You don't say yeah. They've rebooted
But have you
the
guys-
DC universe so many times. How do you even know?
Have you guys seen that photo of like there's like in the old comics, literally they'd had like two twin beds next to like literally next to each other, looked like one bed
Yeah.
sleeping next
no,
to
we
each other.
we got the joke.
Thank you,
It
Nev.
wasn't lost.
I'm
on
just thinking,
us.
I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before you could have.
You know
full
what
sleep
though?
black and
I bet
white
you one
TV
thing.
shows.
Bet you one thing Robin will be saying. I've never been attacked by a
Cheeseburger.
quarter pounder with cheese.
So
in public.
this is the reason they had to do that. It's like if you live in a house, if you don't have enough bedrooms in your house, I mean, what are you? Oh, 'cause he lives in a giant mansion, I guess.
Oh
maybe.
yeah. Don't even get me started on Alfred.
It's because Aunt Harriet took
Alfred
up all the
lives in the
closet space.
fridge.
No, you're thinking
What?
of Kyle Rayner's girlfriend.
Oh.
That's so bad.
I was making a Brady Bunch reference, but okay.
0 to 60.
You're so
So what's
savage.
next?
Oh, and this has been Neff News. Have a nerd today and a blessed tomorrow.
Thank you, Neff. I have a Neff News supplemental here. This is Tony News. This is sort of a we want to talk about something that just came out, and to make sure that we're all on the same playing field, I want to make sure that we got here a little bit early tonight and we watched this thing together so that we can talk about it. So this is a Nerd of Godcast review times 2. We're going to be talking about 2 new nerdy TV shows that have come out since last time we've been together. We're going to talk about Star Trek Discovery and Marvel's Inhumans. Which one do you guys want to talk about first?
Let's get Inhumans out of the way.
Dear God, let's talk about Inhumans. What do you guys think about it? Everybody has seen it, right?
I've seen it twice.
Okay.
Me too.
So let's talk
Yeah.
about that. What was your impressions of Marvel's Inhumans?
I fell asleep the first time.
Well, you're falling asleep right now, and I think that this is a better than average podcast. So that's
I mean,
not
you fell asleep
necessarily-
during Wonder Woman, so.
I also
It
fell
was
asleep.
late.
So let's talk about Inhumans and not Steven's lack of humanity.
Oh.
Jackie, what was your first impression?
They needed to have a dud at some point, I guess.
Oh, good point.
Apparently,
You can only feast so long before there's a turd.
according to the networks, that was Agent Carter.
Agent Carter was
Agent Carter was
good.
It was
though.
amazing.
I said according to the
and
networks.
likable.
Oh,
So-
network was dumb.
EJ, what do you think?
2 words: Borefest.
Borefest. That's harsh. Why? What was so boring about it?
I mean, it was just really dry. The way that they talked to each other was just, the script was just really weird, and it just lagged a lot. The colors were really bland.
Yes,
just a lot
definitely. So it opens up. You're in Adelan, which is the city on the moon, and so you have the ability to create anything that you want to do. I mean, you're creating a world.
Yes,
You're in a little dome.
No, it looks not. It doesn't look like Earth. It looks like gray, boxy concrete slabs.
Yes,
it's like some post-apocalyptic looking thing. What do you think, Jess?
To me, it gave me flashbacks to when I went to college, because my college was all built in that like 1960s concrete movement,
right?
With like little Fibonacci sequence things around, like so like the staircases, everything were like figure 6s and stuff, and it just flashed me back to that.
Yeah, it's very industrial and just really gray and boring. We were watching it on Hulu, and the Subway commercial that came on in between acts was more colorful and lively, and frankly had better acting than Inhumans did.
Yeah.
So Steven, when it opened up, we're sitting there. What was your first thought looking at it when it first opened up?
Like, opening scene of the woods and the girl running.
Yeah,
I was like, are we supposed to care about this girl?
You know
like,
what I was thinking?
What?
Where's the smoke monster?
Yes, exactly. Yes. I was like, is this Lost?
I think this was filmed in Hawaii,
it
looked like it was filmed in the same place where
Kate
dark
was
territory.
hiding in the tall branches.
I thought the same thing.
Kate's hiding. The smoke monster's coming out. Matt Parkman's in it playing
right behind
ABC,
her. So,
but I mean, even when who's the guy, the green guy?
Trigon. Yeah, right.
Triton.
Green Goblin.
When Triton goes into the water, when they shoot him and he falls into the water, so I'm sure he's dead, and they pull back to the beach, I expected to see like the big feet of the statue there. Like it was really, it was directly lifted from Lost. I mean, I don't know.
I think they did film on the same island, because now that I think about it, I think you'd see like the mountain shape.
Hurley is still in the background scene of episode 2.
Yeah, because he's still protecting it.
And you're absolutely right. The acting is terrible.
Yeah.
It's like PBS sci-fi show level terrible.
Well, the writing is terrible too.
The writing is terrible.
But I want Black Bolt to be so cool, because he's so cool in the comic.
Well, the good thing is he hasn't done any terrible lines yet, because they won't let him talk.
Wait
he's
until
not supposed to,
in the second episode, and they do these weird little cutaways that try to inject some flavor to it. They did it in the first episode where now we're going to play a rock song that but we're going to play it slow and dark. So here we are, we're playing Break On Through to the Other Side by the Doors for no reason at all. And then in the next scene, we're playing Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones for no reason at all, but like in a slow, moody mode, like we're making a movie trailer. And these things happen. In the second episode, they have a Pretty Woman montage sort of vibe where Black Bolt is in the town, so he goes and tries on a suit. Like he goes to buy regular people clothes.
Like they did in Wonder Woman?
So he walks in and like, okay, what are we going to do? So the sales lady is kind of like helping her. So he walks out and he's wearing like this nice blue suit and he's looking real handsome and good. And she's like, okay, well, you got to buy that. And he just kind of looks at her with like a, sort of vibe and just goes to walk out of the store. And a security guard goes to stop him and he like crushes him and flips him over and just walks out. And then the police arrest him because she's like, shoplifter. So like as soon as she screams shoplifter, 4 cop cars come rolling out at him at once because that's how that works.
Because that's how that works.
Totally
is that where he like grunts a little bit? And
yeah,
flips the cop
because
car?
they come and they beat him. Probably. I mean, look, I'm not trying to play any, but like first off, this is a well-dressed, affluent-looking, handsome Anglo man. This is a white guy, and he is getting straight up Rodney King'd in the middle of the street in Hawaii. Like they are beating him with clubs in the middle of the street in Hawaii
for shoplifting a suit.
And first, so then he comes in and he now I'm being fair. He starts like fighting the cops and like flipping them and throwing them and doing all kinds of stuff like that. And then they're still just kind of like, what do we do with this guy? Let's tase him. I'm like, hold on a second. If that was a brother, if he was like really Black Bolt, they'd have shot him. They'd have killed him. I mean, it was like you're way too abusive for no reason. And then when he starts attacking cops, they're just like, oh no, let's just tase him gingerly. Okay, like I don't know what Hawaii 5-0 you are not. So terrible stuff. The title card.
I don't even remember the title card.
It had a dog.
That's the thing.
I'm like, what's the dog for?
And it was all like clip art of their little icons.
Glowy clip art just floating around.
And then it shows Marvel's Inhumans, and it's like clip art of a dog. Whoosh.
And I'm like, okay, so well, I don't want to get into this, but it's like you go from these really dope intros on Netflix shows.
Right.
First
off, okay,
happened?
Daredevil was so sick. The intro to the
Yes.
Defenders was amazing.
Yes.
Where you-
Jessica Jones,
Yeah.
each
Luke
one
Cage.
is very stylized, where it's like even like Daredevil, they're pouring. It looks like stuff's getting poured down in like on like an invisible sculpture.
Yeah.
And then you got the Defenders, which is very much built on the light, the different color lights.
Around
Yes,
the city map.
this one looks like it was made in PowerPoint. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
That's weird.
It's terrible.
Shameful.
And-
ABC shouldn't be in charge.
And so well now this is the
It's
thing.
Disney.
You want to talk about who's in charge?
Yeah, that's why they're in charge because it's
So they
Disney.
got the Marvel.
Here's your new
Gotcha.
favorite. Here's
That's
your
why
new
FX and
favorite
Fox have the
favorite person to
X-Men
hate.
stuff.
Zack Snyder, move over, because I want to introduce you guys to a guy named Scott Buck.
Yes.
Scott Buck is the showrunner for this show. He's the guy
He's
that
also
wrote
the
it.
guy who wrote it.
Now, that's why, and I paid attention because when I got into episode 2, I paid attention to the name of the guy who wrote it because I'm like, okay, somebody I have to blame for this. So I looked him up. Do you know what Scott Buck is also famous for?
What?
He was the guy who brought you Iron Fist. He was the showrunner for Netflix's Iron Fist. So
no, I liked Iron Fist.
he
though.
is quit.
can
No,
kinda see the
yeah.
connection.
Of all
Iron
the,
Fist was
of all the Netflix Marvel shows, which was the worst?
Oh,
Iron
well,
Fist.
that's fair, but
Yeah.
still, I liked it.
I liked it too.
okay.
And that's another conversation. But
yeah, but it is okay. It is the weakest of
It is
from,
weak.
from even from a writing perspective, from the dialogue,
Yeah.
from making characters likable
Yeah.
and relatable, and you can see that happen in here. I mean, you have these. I mean, first off, the sets are so drab; they look like they were made for a web series. They're terrible.
Shameful.
You have these characters who have just such bland, no characterization. And they want us to feel like this, oh no. And spoiler alert here, if you haven't seen Inhumans, by the way, I'm not even spoiling it, I'm saving you a trip. We're going to shave Medusa's head. Oh no.
People paid money to go see this in theaters.
I feel so.
What?
Yeah,
To see
they
it in
released it in
IMAX.
IMAX.
Are you serious?
People
Episode-
paid
I would be
money.
Episode
so
one?
Two
upset.
episodes.
It was the
First
first two
episodes.
episodes.
That's
I would be so
weird.
upset.
People spent money to go see that in theaters.
Are
That's
the
it.
stats online like how much money it made?
I think it made
Probably.
I think it made $2.5 million.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
way too much.
Which is but for a IMAX release, it's not that much at all.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But like, I'm not distraught. First off, because her hair looks so fake.
Yes.
Yeah.
That like
Yeah.
I have no emotional attachment to it. And B, they haven't even developed these characters at all. So-
They really went like a DC route with some of this stuff. They really just we're gonna give you all these characters, and we're not. We talked about 2 episodes. I wasn't in the last episode, but we talked about this 2 episodes ago in regards to just excellence. And I'm really confused because we spent a lot of time talking about how Marvel does it right a lot of times.
Yeah.
and they spend time with character development. So I don't know. It's weird.
It almost seems like they started this thing and then they had to like finish it, and they were
Yeah.
just like,
True,
well,
true.
we're somehow obligated to do this,
Yep.
so we're going to put as little effort into it as possible. The marketing for this thing, when they started putting this thing out, was see the trailer, see the premiere in IMAX, and then season 1 on ABC. And they've changed the marketing, I've noticed. It says, if you see, after the IMAX thing, they would say the complete series on ABC. What do you think that means?
It's only done
One
one
season.
season.
I think that's exactly what that means.
Now-
there.
Complete season.
The complete
Oh.
series. The complete
series.
series. Like,
Do
that's
you-
it.
Oh.
Do
You
you
don't.
think they like DC? I think one of DC's problems that I think would go into this was, do you think that they thought we were familiar with the characters already? So they
That's what it
decided-
felt like. Yes.
So they decided not to put it. I mean, I have never read an Inhumans comic book.
Most people
once,
haven't.
Yeah.
Most
Which is
people
weird.
haven't.
So like with Daredevil, that's a known character.
For the most part.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Jessica Jones not as much, but Luke Cage and Iron Fist are a little.
They're a little known.
They're a
but,
little
but,
known,
but we're still talking C-list heroes.
Yeah, we're like
Yeah.
we know them, but they're built up. But then when you get to the Inhumans,
You're D level.
yeah, you're pulling way like, and Marvel's done well with pulling stuff from like the bottom of the bucket, but
Well, Iron
But
Man's
they
not exactly the
developed those.
bottom of the bucket.
I was thinking
Well,
more
okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
And
Guardians.
that's
okay,
what I mean.
I say that's a good parallel. Guardians.
Yeah.
Nobody knew Guardians of the Galaxy before that.
I remember
Correct.
when I saw the Guardians trailer, I was like, what is this? This is
I think,
really
I think
weird.
the success of Guardians went with they had great trailers.
Yes.
The trailer made me want to see it.
Yeah.
You had big stars attached to it.
Sure.
People love
And it
Chris
was-
Pratt, and it was Chris Pratt
Zoe
doing
Saldana.
Zoe
what Chris
Saldana.
Pratt does best.
Yeah.
But James Gunn cares about the characters.
Yeah.
And he
Did you feel like they cared about these characters at all?
Not
No.
one bit.
No.
now here's the
Oh,
thing
crap.
too. Marvel, leading up to this show coming out, made several series with the Inhumans versus X-Men.
Okay.
They
Oh yeah,
created that
they started
series.
pumping that up in the comic
Oh
books
yeah,
big time. Yeah.
and like why should I care about them now when you never
Yeah.
had any? Like,
To be fair, though,
Guardians,
they did the same with Guardians too.
Yeah, but Guardians was good leading,
Yeah.
like, and they had a sequel that was decent that I liked. I
Sure.
liked the second one.
And apparently most people did because it did great in the box office.
Yeah, exactly. So with the Inhumans, though, I felt like we said earlier, maybe they thought that we were too familiar with them.
I mean,
we really weren't.
And they show that, like, even in the beginning, you have, I'm Black Bolt, and here's Medusa, and we're looking over our kingdom. Like, you care who we are. And they didn't even explain. You have all these other characters, and they have no, like, Karnak is a really cool character. And he was really well done in the show. You could kind of see him calculating all the different things. He has his power or his ability, which isn't even, I don't even think it's an inhuman ability. I think it's a self-developed ability, is that he can calculate all the different odds and the options of things that he can do.
That's cool.
Figure out the best thing and do it. And they showed that in the show really well, but they never explained to you what's happening.
Until it makes sense for him to not use it.
And then they give him a concussion in episode 2 and
Beginning of episode 2.
and take that away from him.
The only one I know is Black Bolt. That's the only, because he's the coolest character.
And he crosses over to more other storylines.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd heard of
exactly.
Lockjaw.
Yeah,
So,
you have the
but I
hero
didn't
clip of
know.
Lockjaw, but the hero clicks figure.
Yeah, I do.
But
That's where I've heard of him.
But okay, here's Medusa. Here's her interesting thing, and it doesn't even look real. Let's shave her head right off the bat. Here's Crystal. She's really cool. Crystal was one of the, Medusa was too, but Crystal used to be. She was a stand-in for the Fantastic Four. What do we do with her? Absolutely nothing. It just
it almost felt like they could have really even one full episode per character would have been dope, and at the very end introduce a villain that brings them all together, or just kind of creates a situation where, you know what, we need to go ahead and hit
So
you
you're
with
talking
season
about
2.
the Avengers route, where
Basically.
every character has their own
or
movie,
the
every
Defenders route or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Or-
mean, if you-
yeah.
if you-
But in one season, like,
yeah,
but you
give
could-
them episodes that make us
Yeah,
Yeah,
care
I
about them.
kind
Yeah.
of feel like that first episode should have been the last episode
yes,
to go into a new
exactly. That's what I
That's good.
mean.
You could also do like they did in the show Heroes, because in Heroes they're discovering their abilities, so you're kind of discovering them with the characters, so you kind of humanize with them more. But you don't know these characters' backstories. You don't know what they're going through. But throughout the season, you slowly will build to knowing the characters, knowing what they can do, and knowing their limitations. So by the end of the season, when there's this, crazy Siler guy they keep talking about, and the Siler comes back, you care about the characters.
Right.
Heroes did that well. But in this, it definitely, like Jessica said, it feels like this episode should have, if it had not been the last episode, at least towards the end.
Yes.
So it gives you time to care about Black Bolt. Like even the first episode, Black Bolt speaking this weird moon sign language of the whole thing, and you're just assuming he's mute or he's deaf. But then at the end, it's like, oh yeah, if he talks, he killed his parents because he was asked why.
Yeah.
But like, why don't you show that at the beginning so we know why? Don't make us. I mean, I knew already.
But even the flashbacks that they do, which worked really well in Lost, they don't even do that in this episode. They do a couple flashbacks and they do them badly.
Yes, Lost was
quickly.
intentional because that's one way how they built the characters. But Lost made it actually to where you could tell when a flashback was coming on because they would put a sound in.
Well,
They
there's one
Pavlov
scene-
dogs you.
There's one scene where Medusa is standing in the same room as young Medusa, and they don't even tell you that's what's going on until the other girl walks into the next room and goes, "I'm Medusa." Oh, that makes sense.
I'm not afraid of you.
Expository.
Like, okay, so like not to spoil anything, but like Black Bolt ends up somewhere. I feel like that would have been a great like segue to another season, or like,
Yeah.
oh, he ended up somewhere.
Yeah, now he's out of
And then
out of
when you-
Adelan.
Then when you do
Yes.
that, hey, set up for crossovers. even.
Exactly.
Like you can do Agents of
dear,
Shield crossover.
dear God, don't let it cross over with Agents of Shield. Don't let it taint
Didn't they already
Agents
Well,
of
do
not
Shield.
that?
now, but like
Not now, but
Didn't they start off in Agents of Shield?
No.
Thought
Oh,
you
no,
said
'cause they
something.
had that blue guy.
well, they make a reference to the Terrigen that has been put out through the ocean, which happens in Shield,
Who's
which
that?
causes people to begin turning into
Yeah.
Inhumans.
wasn't one. I was going to say, wasn't one of the Inhumans in? Like
Well,
the blue dude.
that's the whole main thing that they're doing,
Blue
that
dude.
they've been doing in Agents of
It's
Shield
like this
is
blue dude has like who's like
yeah, I know you're talking about.
I don't know his name.
It's not important, but
He's in a human. I don't know.
in Agents of Shield, they
Yondu.
no, it's he looks more like Never mind, it's not important.
Let him finish.
In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they have a big story arc where they're trying to go around and find all the Inhumans, which is really Marvel's way of saying mutants, but they can't say mutants.
Right.
So they're Inhumans is what it is. But this show was whatever my expectations were, which is not very high to begin with, it totally undercut everything to the point of being laughable.
Yeah.
The dialogue was so bad. So you have the Terrigenesis, which is how the Inhumans become Inhumans. They're normal like people, and then at a certain point they get introduced to these Terrigen mists, and they develop their powers. They kind of generate their powers. And the culture on this moon city in Adelan is that if you get pretty powers, like the girl that gets butterfly wings, everyone just claps for you. Yay, you're a Disney princess now. And if you don't get visibly cool powers, or if you're, vaguely unpowerful, they send you to the lower caste area, not my word, their word. And they send you to the lower caste area where you work in the mines.
What? That's weird.
You work in the mines. And you know how I know this so specifically? Because when the brother and sister who they used to develop this plot point, the girl who gets pretty butterfly wings and the boy who doesn't have any visible change, although he can still read the future somehow.
Yeah, he's definitely helpful.
When all the people down in the mines look up and see the butterfly girl and they start clapping for her, and then when they say, well, what power did you get? And he goes, I don't know that anything happened. And a man from the middle of the peasant lower caste people go, well, then to the mines you go.
To the mines you go.
It's like, wait a second. I had to back it up. It's like, what? He goes, to the mines you go.
That needs to be a sound clip.
Somebody wrote that on paper and gave a script to a man who got paid to stand there and say, to the mines.
Okay.
Seriously, can we sound clip that? And anytime anybody says something off.
What's my line?
To the mines you go.
What's my line again? To the mines.
What's my motivation here?
Better yet, the director said, yeah, that's good enough.
You know that scene in Snow White when they all scream "Hi ho"?
Yeah.
Do something like that.
To the mines
you go.
they cut out the whole hi ho part. That was
I'd buy a t-shirt.
Hi ho.
It's
to
synergy,
the
Liz
mines
Lemon. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. And you know what part I totally just at which point I absolutely emotionally checked out. Besides, you guys didn't even get to episode 2 where Gorgon. If anyone can do it, Gorgon can. Where Gorgon comes down and he ends up going out into the ocean because he's like Triton's in the ocean. And he walks out into the ocean and begins to drown because he's got hooves for feet.
Yes.
Oh, forget the whole weird side story where like weird blonde woman is in a big giant airplane hangar controlling for some reason some kind of $80 million lunar explorer, which
they left.
Nicholas, real quick, you're a NASA guy. Would it be stupid for them to spend $80 million to send a robot to the moon for some reason?
Yes.
Like, why do they need to do that? Exactly. It's just a plot point.
Here's another thing.
No, well, hold on. So that's a whole stupid plot point. So Gorgon wades out into the ocean and promptly starts drowning because he has hooves and he can't swim.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
And he's wearing boots.
Not a lot of swimming on the moon, where he's rescued by surfers.
Well, there's the sea.
Look at this guy. He's got hooves.
They're Hawaiian. They're not Californian. He rescues. He's rescued by surfers. And brought to the beach where they're like, wow, your feet are weird. And then they sit around until nighttime. This happened. So they're there all day sharing surfing moon stories. I don't really know. And he's like, and then he's like, I'm a warrior. So he sends his signal out on purpose so that the bad guys will come find him. And he's like, you'd better leave now. It's going to get bad. And they're like, we're surfers. We're not afraid of a fight. So now it's Gorgon and his army of surfer dudes.
When I think of surfers, I think, man, those guys are tough.
Those guys are here.
I don't want to tussle with those guys.
You sound like you're describing a dream you had. So it's Gorgon, right? And he's got this army of surfers, and he sends a signal out so the bad guys can come.
A quarter pounder with cheese has never attacked me in public.
And then a giant teleporting dog comes in.
Yeah.
Come on in, carnivore.
And then I cut off Medusa's hair.
So
it was a good time had by Hall.
So
back to the mines with you.
The mines you go.
So the part where I totally emotionally checked out, and by the way, 2 points to Jackie for getting a quote across on you guys.
What? What'd she say?
She got a quote on me, and the only reason why is because I didn't hear her.
What did she say?
She definitely said it loud and clear.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it either.
I said, come on in, carnivore.
Oh, that was one of your lines?
Right.
Oh,
Good job,
That's
Jackie.
the only one I'm going to be able to get out.
See, I thought that was the name of the dog. I forgot that much
I
of
didn't
the
even
show.
hear you.
Yeah, so the part was this. We're on the moon.
Nailed it.
with a civilization that is technologically advanced, so much that they have water TVs and people in white hoods that are there to watch
It's a water
to
TV.
watch 6 channels at once.
Weird.
You missed it. You didn't see the water TV.
Yeah.
They monitor all of Earth by watching at least 6 channels. They don't even have like Telemundo on there or anything like that. They're just watching the bad things that happen. It's not important.
8384 on the Weather Channel.
That's exactly right. And Martin McFly Jr.
Watch
had
a
more
little TV
channels.
for a change.
So
What?
here we are on the moon, fighting against a powerful Inhuman, and Maximus decides to take out Medusa with the same $14 clippers that I use from Walmart.
Yeah, like that was weird.
We're gonna make you look good,
When
darling.
was this? Well, yeah.
Like he doesn't even like
Weird.
pull out a sword and just like hack it
Yeah,
off.
that would have been cool.
Like he just
Not even like Eugene from Tangled style.
He's like, now hold still.
And he doesn't
Like
even
with
use
the
a
great
clipper
clips,
guard.
it's like, hey, let me get that.
listen. I'm gonna tell you, I don't have a whole lot of hair, and it takes me longer than that to cut my hair off. Man, that's hurting, bro. That's he's doing more tearing than cutting at this point, unless it is some kind of like futuristic moon clipper. In which case, why doesn't he use it on his scraggly beard face?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what I'm
that
saying.
kind of bothered me
His
too.
little
There's just a lot of
patchy
weird
high
patchy.
school
Wait, you
beard.
got bothered by his beard, EJ?
Yes, because
His patchy high school beard.
patchy.
Obviously,
he
yeah.
needs to work on that.
Patchy.
I've seen-
Patchy.
It's patchy.
Apache.
Apparently,
Your beard
on
is
it.
not.
Jump
Apparently,
on
Your
it.
beard doesn't bother me.
his
Steven.
inhuman ability was not to grow luscious facial hair.
And that's what he just didn't know. But
Wait a
wait, hold on a
minute.
second.
Wait
If
a
he
minute.
didn't have a human ability, why didn't he go to the mines?
That was the problem, and that's what the guy in the mine said, is that he's the only reason you're not down here is because your brother is Black Bolt.
Wait a
So
minute.
you, to the mines you
To the
go.
mines you go.
Wait, if his power is not being able to grow a beard, am I an inhuman?
You're a deaf.
Neff, you're the most inhuman of all. Jessica,
Oh God.
What did they say was the cost of that rover?
the what?
The rover?
$8 million.
$80 million.
80 million?
All
All right.
$80 million.
In 1971, the Apollo lunar rover cost NASA $38 million. Yeah, $38 million.
Okay.
Half
Adjusted
price.
for inflation in 2017, that adjusts for inflation $230 million.
Well, here's the better
Okay.
question.
So, it's actually
Why
a really
do we
good
need
deal.
to explore the moon. We've been there.
You take rock
we
samples.
Have satellite. They were exploring the side that we see. So it's
Someone
not like
someone
They're on
didn't
the
see
dark side.
Transformers 3.
Yeah. You
Including everybody. Everybody.
you've got to have
nobody saw
something
that
on the
movie.
moon. But this is the thing. The thing gets destroyed, and she's like, that looks like a hoof. Why would that be the first thing that you would think would
because
destroy
I
it?
didn't.
Wow.
I didn't think that,
That looks like
I'm-
and
a
I
hoof.
knew it was.
I thought it was the dog.
That looks like a hoof.
I thought it was a rock.
I just want to randomly just go to the mines. You go to the mines. You go. Like that, I just want to say that now. Like you guys are talking, and I'm just like, man, I just want to wait for my moment to say it.
To the mines.
That's it. We're done with the no
I
more
wish
quotes.
that was
just
one of
that.
these quotes.
Just that.
No more
So-
quotes. We don't have
so-
to. do
Wait.
quotes.
I just want to insert that into random parts of movies. So, like, you have the Seven Dwarfs are walking, you just put some guy.
got the
to
Will-
the mines you go.
The Wilhelm scream and to the mines you
Yes.
Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom.
go. To the mines you go.
Put it to one of the scenes of
Dun,
Donkey
dun,
Kong
dun,
Country
dun.
Game.
The
No,
Doom-
no.
Mines you go.
You gotta suck some helium before you say it.
to the mines you go.
I see a Nog video coming real soon, guys. That'll go viral.
Welcome to the Nerdy Godcast. We're going to insert bad lines from Inhumans
Oh,
into good
yeah.
movies.
Yes.
What about
That's
like
a good
it's a
idea.
movie with like submarines and they're trying to get through a minefield.
No, Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo. To the
mines
you go. I want to touch it.
You put it in Lord of the Rings when they go into the mines of Mora. To the mines you go.
I'm telling you, you guys have
taking
to
the
write this
Hobbit
down,
swords
man.
and go.
Write it down. Make it happen. That is hilarious.
I don't think we need to write it down. It's going to be played audibly,
Yeah.
so that way everyone can hear it.
All right,
Oh my gosh.
so out of let's just say out of 10 out of 10 or 1 out of 10, or where are we on the Inhumans?
It was
go negative.
It was a 0 until to the mines you go, and now it's a 7.
Hashtag to the mines you go.
Yeah, that line
To the
alone.
mines you go, and I can't not point as I say
You
it.
sound like you sound like the guy from Battlefield Earth, John Travolta's character.
Go back and watch, because it's a tall, gray-haired man, and he's standing in the middle of the crowd
Yes.
when he says that, which is funny because at the end of the episode, Maximus goes to readdress the same people, and the same guy is standing in the same exact position. He's got a very distinctive face.
I'm just imagining like a little kid sitting next to him, like, Jeez, Grandpa, come on. Just
You yell
Chill,
that
stop.
every single
Every
week.
time.
He's not right. He's not right in the head.
You should hear his alarm when he wakes up in the morning.
Guys,
To
but
the mines.
I'm gonna give it 1 point though for the cool scene with the dude with the tattoo face.
Karnak.
Yeah.
Karnak,
That
that
was
little fight
cool.
scene was cool, so I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10.
Now I'm gonna keep watching it because I know they're only in it for
no.
one season. I know it's
I
got
want
it's
them to
finite.
bring the mind guy back.
Yes.
Every week.
Bring him.
He was behind the whole thing.
I want him to have his own spin-off.
You and your patchy beard are done here.
The only
To the
way-
mines you go.
The only way that would have been a 10 out of 10 is if it was Stan Lee.
Oh, that
To the
would've been
mines you
awesome.
go.
No, I still stand by
Excelsior.
because Stanley couldn't pull off to the mines. You go.
That would've been
He can't
cool.
get that high.
To the mines.
I don't think it was that high pitched. I think you're making it as we go.
Mines you go.
It sounds like a
Went Jiminy Glick on us there. It's time to go to the mines.
Now you sound the guy.
It's nice down there.
You sound like the guy.
Like I was telling Bobby De Niro in time. I was going to the mines. I can't breathe.
You
To the
go.
mines.
You guys.
You sound like the guy from
One time.
Independence Day. To the mine. To the mines you go.
Harvey Firestein.
Harvey Feinstein.
To the mines you go.
One
David.
time,
David.
I look. It was. I don't know if it was on my news feed or something like that today, but it popped up. I think like a year ago that you posted on our private staff page that he was going to be playing the mother in Hairspray. And I don't know why you. I
right.
don't know why you posted this, but my comment to it was. Is this what our show is about now? And Jessica was like, well, there's a lot of people that are nerdy about a lot of different things, and this is perfectly fine because a lot of nerds that I know are theater and I'm just like, shut up, Jessica.
It's
I
'cause
just
we
want
were
to tell you
doing-
shut up right now in front of
Because
everybody.
we were doing independent. Sorry, there was a perfect moment.
David!
That's what we were doing.
Wait,
we
his
were
name was
quoting
Harvey
him.
Feinstein.
I think, didn't Firestein?
I think it's Firestein.
I think it's
He's-
Firestein.
He's
It's
in
called my mother. It's called my
Mrs.
lawyer.
Doubtfire.
Have you
I'm
guys,
gonna get my lawyer.
have you guys ever heard Harvey Weinstein of the Weinstein Brothers talk? He sounds just like that.
I don't know.
What about Truman Capote doing
We're
to
taking
the
a
mine?
strong.
To the
No,
mines, you go.
is that how he talks?
Yeah.
How do
mines
we
you
even
go.
know? Okay, stop. We're done.
To the mines.
This is taking a strong
Sound like Mr.
left
Bill.
turn.
Right? It's been like
You're going,
20
I think
minutes.
you're going more like
Mines, you go.
Tiny Tim, like tiptoe through the mines and here on out to land with the Inhumans.
Just so you know, it's
This is like its own mini segment. Like this whole segment
this has
just
been
needs
almost
to be
30 minutes.
Here's
30
Of
minutes
just
of
us
to
doing
the mines
to
you
the
go.
mines you go.
Here's
30
what's
minutes.
here's what's gonna happen.
Hello, future
is
Tony.
Tony's gonna look at the runtime of this episode. It's gonna be like 2.5 hours, and he's gonna listen to the two. Of the
I'm
Minds
gonna
You
cut
Go,
this whole
and he's
part
like,
out.
This is not nearly as funny when it happened.
Yeah.
It's just Steven over and over going to the mines. You go higher and higher pitched each time.
Every
he does
time you do it, it sounds a little. To the mines you go. To the mines you go.
Oh my god.
All right, we're stuck in the loop again. Stop.
it. And then
People
Neff brings
listen
up
to
Capote.
us.
Oh, by the end of the episode, only dogs will be able to hear it. Lockjaw will come down here from Adelan.
We need to find that actor and tweet him, and maybe he will talk to us. You know?
Dude, he gets all the best roles in Hollywood. You know what? It all he gets on like some kind of like talk show. You know.
I
Jimmy,
want to see
it all
him on
starts-
Inside the Actors Studio.
Oh my
So what
God.
was
What was your motivation?
when you were? You know, I was just thinking.
Let's
I want to
discuss
send him
your-
to the mines.
Let's discuss your oeuvre.
So you know, I was thinking,
Mahura?
if I was an old man and I wanted somebody to go to the mines, what
you-
would I say, and how would I say that? So I obviously said.
So I practice
could
in
you,
the mirror.
Could you do us a sample of your work, sir?
Mines, you go.
Just a thunderous applause from the
Standing
truly,
ovation.
truly, the work of a pure genius,
There's a middle-aged white lady weeping, happy tears.
a masterpiece of the small screen.
And then he goes, I'm writing a movie about a warden. Can you please play the warden?
I want that guy to be at MegaCon next year. I want his.
I'm dressing him.
I want
That's
his
my
autograph.
cosplay.
He's at MegaCon, his booth that says Mind Guy from it.
He's got a sign. Cosplayers have signs that just say "To the mines you go."
Oh, EJ, that's your next painting you got to do. It's just that.
I'm gonna do it too.
Dude,
I'm,
just
I'm here. I'm
skinnies,
doing
minis,
it.
all.
I'm doing it.
I want
a
his
shirt
pop
with
figure
that at least on
to
it,
the
like to the
mines.
mines you go.
Oh,
All right.
yes.
I'd buy a T-shirt.
Yeah,
I would buy
I'd
that
buy a
shirt.
t-shirt.
I'd wear it.
All right, we'll make that happen.
Next segment.
Nerdygodcast.com. Buy your To the Mines You Go T-shirt. We'll have Steven autograph it for you.
We can't talk about Jesus tonight because we talked about the mine guy for half an hour.
Are there any mines in the Bible?
So isn't it great
To
that
the Mayans you go.
when
To the Mayans? We're going to Mexico.
I think you're thinking of the Book of Mormon. Different story. All right, so
Doctor Strange to the mines.
switching gears to the other show that came out, which we now have about 30 seconds to talk about. Star Trek Discovery.
It was good. Moving on.
Well, were there any mines in Star Trek Discovery?
Oh my
If
gosh!
not,
If
I don't
anyone
wanna
says the
hear
word
it.
mine again,
There is.
I'm gonna stop
Jessica
them.
has a pen in her hand.
Hours.
She
And
And it's
is
from
like-
the Air Force.
She's going to. Why do Air Force pins? Are they more deadly?
Can I have this?
Yes,
A military precision.
Only when
You
thrown
can have
at
that.
Why can't
only
I
when
have
thrown
it?
at people.
Why can't I have it?
because it's mine.
Okay. She said, if I hear mine one more
Duh,
time.
Steven.
Steven has two speeds: yawning or drunk.
Oh my goodness.
Clearly.
And I'll do it again.
And to her defense, she did warn you. So,
yeah.
Star Trek
Well, you
Discovery. Nick, you are a Star Trek guy. Tell us a little bit about your impressions of Star Trek Discovery. You watched the first 2 episodes, right?
Yes.
Which
I
is
enjoyed
really
it.
just the prelude to the actual show.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot.
What'd you like about it?
Just about everything, really.
Oh wow!
He
It
was
felt-
geeking out.
Way to go.
It felt like a Star Trek
Yeah.
show.
Mhm.
It felt more like the movies.
The movies, right?
You know why? Because
That's
of the
good.
lens flares.
I'm like,
Yeah, I said the same thing.
Lens
I was looking for
flares and
J.J.
Dutch
Abrams in the
angles.
credits.
There was even some parts in the audio, like in the soundtrack, that seemed like they were going to go a little Michael Giacchino on us.
Yeah, even the title, the thing it had
It had that
the
feel.
classic Star Trek feel to
Right.
it.
Well, one thing I liked about the intro, like the title cards, is when they get to the point where it says based on characters in the universe created by Gene Roddenberry, they played the original Star Trek
Yeah.
theme briefly right there.
See, if I was a studio, and I think that's why they went more with like the lens flare look. If I was a studio, I would go for a show. If I was gonna make a Star Trek show, I'd make it look like the new movies.
It looked like a movie. It
Because-
looked like a movie, not like any Star
Like-
Trek
like the
show
newer
that had ever come
movies.
before.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I was,
Even-
because the people, more audiences out there know, besides the actual like tried and true Trek fans, would know the movies. There's a wider audience for the ones who know all 3 of the movies than just the show.
And you say all 3 of the movies, and by that you mean
the
all,
Abrams.
all 13 of the movies. And,
Well, I mean-
don't say there's a wider audience that just jumped into a 50-year-old franchise in the past
Well, no.
5 years,
But-
because there's a wider audience, and you have to remember they're selling this on a premium pay channel.
I know.
That people
pay
who
for
just
it. I'm
scrolled
going to pay
in,
for it.
the people that just scrolled in the J.J. Abrams movies are not going to pay $6 a month just to watch Star Trek.
But the older Star Trek movies are not that they're only for the fans, but the newer ones are very blockbuster and more of like wider audiences would see that movie because it looks more like a space action.
And I can agree with that. This
That-
this
so-
looks like a movie.
And that's what I'm saying. I think they would go for the same look because I think more people went to go see these outside of the Trek fans. So I think they would try to appeal to both Trek fans and the ones who saw the movies by making it more like the new movies.
Did anybody else watch this? Did you guys see?
I did.
Discovery. What do you think about the look of it, Steven?
It definitely looks like the new Bad Robot production.
What about it looks like that in your opinion?
It's the colors that they use, it's the hue that they use, the lens flares obviously, but also some of the angles they've used a little bit of like a Dutch angle like they would do almost like
now for those.
You're talking.
Yeah, I don't
you're talking
know what a
movie
Dutch
time.
angle
I
is.
don't
I was
know
about
what
to
you're
explain
talking
it.
about.
Okay, all
a
right.
Dutch
It's a
angle
slant.
is like a slanted. It's like they use it a lot in the Batman, like 1966 Batman show, but it's a slightly like slanted shot. So it's like where the camera is like looking up at an angle, but the angle is also not perfect. It's kind of slanted.
And is that to like show? Like,
Yeah, I noticed
the
that, too.
immense nature of.
It's just a different shot.
okay.
Well, also in here, I mean, you're in the middle of space. There's no up or down in space, so it gives that sort of off kilter. You
that
know,
was
you
one.
could
do
be
a
That
cool
was one of
shot.
my problems that I had when the what was the name of the ship in the first one?
Shenzhou.
The Shenzhou.
I thought it was
and
Discovery.
the Klingon bird of prey. They're nose to nose. That was something you didn't see a lot in the Abrams and the Bad Robot ones, where they kind of came at each other from different angles. But I will tell you this: when that bird of prey uncloaked, How bad was that bird of prey?
Does it look
Nick?
good? It looks
That's
good.
the coolest ship I've seen in a long
It's
time.
the coolest ship I've seen in a long time.
Now, I have a-
It
I'm
was-
excited.
It was so
now I kind of
bad.
want to watch it.
Now I have a
It was
question.
terrifying looking.
Yes.
I have a question because I didn't do any research prior to this. I didn't listen to about it. I purposely kept myself away from it so I
me,
can go
me
in.
too.
Where is this supposed to take place in the Star Trek timeline?
Just
like
go ahead, Nick.
decade or
It's
yeah,
about
a
10
decade
years.
before.
Before
Before the
decade
original series.
Before the original series.
Yeah.
I would have put it. I would have put it kind of correspond in the same time frame as the original series,
Well,
just
I
based
thought
on the
so-
things like the communicators and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I thought
also
and,
the
and the
thing-
phasers.
And mine wasn't even that. It was the the beef with the Klingons.
Well, hang on, Nick. Go ahead.
even the ships that they look like they're because whenever all of them come in, they're all the same class, and it was similar to the.
I haven't
ship.
seen the second episode, so I didn't know that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm not worried about that. But I was just, I didn't know that.
But they're all I forgot the name of the class, but there's an episode in Next Generation where they're stuck in a time loop, and the ship comes out of the time loop with them.
Yeah.
Is
that the one with Morgan Bateman, right? With he was Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
The Bozeman.
Yeah, the
Very
Bozeman.
Good job, Jessica.
She's learning.
That was the same class ship as the ones that are in the show.
Well,
Discovery.
but Bateman, that was movie era Star Trek. I mean, not to say that it couldn't have been a 30-year-old ship or whatever, but that
I
was.
think they said it was like an 80-year-old ship.
But yeah, maybe because not from the perspective of when he would have been on it, because the uniform he was wearing was similar to the uniform that they wore around Wrath of Khan. Spock.
Okay.
So this is set before the original. It's in the original universe.
It's in the
not
original.
new
It
universe.
has to
Well,
be.
I-
No,
I don't
the-
want to like spoil anything, but there's something that you see that is definitely has to be at least in the similar timeline.
Well, I'll go ahead and say it.
What's the name of the new timeline, Nick?
There's a spoiler
Kelvin.
thing. There's a spoiler thing here. The main character, Michael is her name. She was raised, or she grew up on Vulcan and was tutored by Sarek.
Yes.
So she seems to be a peer
Who
of
is Spock's
father.
For who don't,
That's
who
cool.
don't know.
So she is definitely within a few years of Spock age-wise.
And she would know Spock, or at least
She
know
would
of
know
Spock.
Spock, yeah.
That was basically what made me think it was around the same
But
time.
you're right, because they would not, and I don't remember how they did in the Abrams universe. If they knew who Klingons were, because Uhura was able to interpret the Klingon language,
But they hadn't seen Klingons in a while.
But they hadn't seen Klingons in a while, so it's in that window.
Yeah, and then like I think one thing I did appreciate is like star date, blah, 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 blah.
On
Or
Earth,
on Earth, it's
May
this,
11th,
So
yeah.
it's like May 11th, 2216
2216 or whatever.
So it's
yeah.
like we haven't heard we haven't something about Klingons in 240 years. I'm like, is that this year? Like, is that like, are they trying to say 2017 was when we discovered Klingons?
Well, according to the Star Trek lineage, it would have been the 90s that we would have that we had the eugenics war. So it would have been the first part of the 21st century.
First contact.
That Zefram Cochrane created the Phoenix, the warp drive, and interacted with the Vulcans.
The dude from Road Warrior.
But
The dude from Babe.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Yeah.
so that was just my question. I figured it was around that time because I know Next Gen there's a piece with the Klingons. So
Yeah, but that happened. That happened because of the Praxis moon exploding in Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country.
Tony, your nerd is showing.
I don't know. What's going on.
I like the one with the
Plus,
whales.
plus Next Generation happens like almost 100 years after this. So
Yeah, I think Next Gen is like 78 years or something like that after the original.
They're in the 24th century.
Yeah, because
Everybody's old and
Bones is on the Encounter at Farpoint. And he's like 120 years or something like that.
Ooh,
100
yeah.
He's slightly racist.
I don't see no points on him, as boy, but you sound like a Vulcan.
And the Bones became an old Southern gentleman somehow.
But I thought it was really good. Again, I didn't watch the whole thing. I don't understand why in every incarnation they always have to change the way Klingons look.
Yeah.
I mean,
They look very orcish.
They look very much so.
Yeah.
They look
Yeah.
different in the original series, and then they changed them
Well,
in
the original series, they look like people.
They look like people, but in the and they explained that away. They did eventually
Yes,
explain
on,
that
Deep Space Nine,
but
right?
yeah, but you had in the motion picture, and then as they went on there, they gave them more pronounced brows, and that's the way it stayed through
It's the
Next
most
Generation
recognizable
and all that.
iteration.
Yeah, and then you went back in the Abrams universe when you saw them in Into Darkness, and they look different again there. And in the
I
deleted
think they
scene
look closest on like the Abrams one and this one look very similar.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
but they did. They look like orcs. They look like Urukai or something.
Yeah, well,
Because
like
they're
where's
the-
your white handprint?
Yeah.
They're the first thing you see, and I'm just like, I'm assuming that's a Klingon, but it kind of doesn't look like a Klingon. So, and they say, "We are Klingon," and then everyone says, "We are Klingon," but they say in Klingon.
And that goes back to familiarity with the newer movies. I think, like I said, especially the very younger audience who have seen all the newer J.J. Abrams universe.
It's
movies.
weird to me that when you say younger audience, I have a hard time attaching younger and Star Trek.
I know, but that's the thing. Like all.
I mean, he's
like,
talking about people like me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, like even because like people Jessica's age or even Steven's age would be, which isn't that much of a difference, but they grew up watching like Next Generation type
I
stuff.
didn't grow up watching.
Yeah, because
No,
when
Next
did
Generation
start?
was-
Like, when did it start?
Next Generation started the year I was born.
87.
Oh.
It was the 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and it ended in what?
94.
94.
So
So
what was the
it
last show?
started
What-
the year she was born, ended the year I was 4.
Enterprise,
When did that come out?
2000s, early 2000s.
Oh,
yeah.
you're
Well,
forgetting
that-
Voyager.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No,
like,
I mean I'm not forgetting it. He said the one's the last one that came out was
Oh,
Enterprise.
okay.
well, it's like
Yeah.
I never forget Voyager.
people that are like
Kate
kid-
Mulgrew and her annoying voice.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah, well.
I was a kid and my mom would watch Enterprise.
mines
Yeah. Tony, how?
Me and my uncle watched the Next
To the
Generation.
mines you
I was just
go.
too young
Or
for it.
Next Generation. Yeah, I was
Okay,
a
Tony,
kid.
how
and my
old
mom would
is
watch
your
it.
son?
Yeah.
My son's 15.
And has he seen all three Star Trek movies?
Yes, he has.
Okay, that's different because he's
How
Tony's
is it?
son.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what's to say other?
I mean, I
You're-
started
but you're
watching.
So the
also-
big blockbuster movie, these big Star Trek movies, the remakes, the reboots, whatever you want to call them.
They still appeal. If they didn't appeal to Star Trek fans of the originals, they wouldn't have so carefully integrated the two universes by having Spock Prime and
Yeah,
whatnot in
they
there.
wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, but
And,
it's
and you can
still-
tell the difference between compare the amount of action figures that you see for Star Wars and lunchboxes you see for Star Wars and backpacks you see for Star Wars with the same for Star Trek. It's 100 to 0. They don't
Yeah,
exist.
they're not making Star Trek toys.
Yeah.
They're making Star Trek collectibles.
And because the adult collector, the adult people are the ones that are more consumers of Star Trek. That's the way it is. Star Trek doesn't move at a pace that even J.J. Abrams, when he did it, he brought it up to date, but it still felt like Star Trek.
You know, it always felt like watching the older ones and watching the J.J. Abrams movies. It feels like it's bigger and more fast. To me, it felt more fast paced.
I mean, you can argue the same thing for Star Wars Episode 7 and Rogue One compared to A New Hope.
Do you
I
think
mean, it's
that?
just the timing that they were made.
Do you
timing,
think?
the
Did you
bu-
see Discovery?
No,
Okay, so you can't speak to this, but did you guys find the Discovery was faster paced? And
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely then, because I'm in the first season of Next Generation, and it's hard for me to finish it because it's slow paced. This one, I watched it late at night, so I felt the time drag a little bit, but mostly because I was tired. But at one point, I paused. I'm like, oh, I only have 8 minutes left of this episode. I still feel like I had half the episode to go because it was moving faster.
Yeah.
Is it on Netflix?
No,
no,
it's-
you have to get their CBS streaming service.
you can get it for a week for free.
Well, the gen. You're talking about the next gen.
Oh,
Next
Next
Generation's on
Yeah,
Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That those.
I think
I
all
don't
of
think
them
you can
are.
handle Next Generation.
No,
I think you
No,
tap
you.
out
I
pretty quick.
promise you cannot.
No.
But I liked the design. I liked the ship design. You compared it a lot to the Abrams universe, but I found it very, very different because it looked more like the Next Generation cinematic universe where everything was dark and subdued.
Well, I
on
haven't
the-
seen the movies for Next Gen, so
but
that's
I'm-
my
but I'm
closest comparison.
Saying comparing it to the way that the bridge is very dark and cinematic looking, as opposed to the Abrams one was very bright and white and it looked like an Apple store, but this one looked a lot more dark and
Yeah.
militaristic. So just an interesting comparison there. I love the bridge aliens, the ones that were on the deck. Like I did that Daft Punk guy with the robot
Yeah.
head. Cool looking.
And it's like Red Alert, and his whole thing turns red.
Yeah, that was really cool. I like that. I thought they did a really, really good job. The one thing that I don't want to say beef with, was I wasn't sure the direction they were taking the Klingons there, because they made them more like orcs. Even with the torches that were around in their chamber and putting the sarcophagus all around the encompassing of the ship, that was weird.
Yeah, they're very. To me, it seems very shamanistic.
Yeah, and that was exactly my thought, because the Klingons, Star Trek's always been kind of a mirror of our times, and originally the whole deal in the '60s was you have this Cold War with and Klingons were like Russians, and you always had that, even through when you went through the Undiscovered Country in Star Trek VI, right around the time of the fall of the Berlin Wall, and they're making a sort of an uneasy sort of peace. So as we're going into that with our longtime enemies from back in the day, and we're kind of going into this undiscovered country of this uneasy peace. They're doing the same thing in the Star Trek universe, which was really kind of a cool thing. Now we're going back, and these Klingons don't seem like Russians. They seem more like, I don't know, like Egyptians or Aztecs or something.
Yeah, they're definitely very ancient.
Yeah.
So I did, and when they had the funeral,
Yeah.
I was like, can you imagine like going to a funeral that was, that was and then all of a sudden
Hovering
everyone goes,
Just hold on
I'm
a
like,
second.
can I have that at my funeral?
I'm just imagining somebody who's not watching this, listening to it, and to hear the description, a thing where it's like,
There's a hovering sarcophagus, and it's very, very Egyptian looking, and it just kind of floats off, and they surround the hull of their ship with the bodies of their fallen soldiers. Very strange.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, really strange.
But very
So as
Klingon
more-
at the same time.
Yeah.
See, that's
But
sad.
as more of them die in battle, the stronger the ship becomes.
But I do like their references to the mythology of Kales, which goes back to, I mean, even like Next Generation, where they had Kales was sort of the Christ figure of the Klingon Empire.
I need to watch. I'm like, now that this show has come out and how good it sounds, like the way you guys are making it sound, I really want to go back and watch all the Star Trek episodes. But there's so many to watch.
You've got about 600 of them. So
700.
Whoa.
you can. Here's the thing: you can probably get away with just
Whoa.
watching the original series,
And
watching the original series movies, Next Gen.
Well, I've
Next
seen all the
Gen-
original series movies.
And here I am. I can't watch Lost because of all the episodes. 700. That's a lot.
That's a lot of Star Trek.
Even the Shatner movie I've seen.
The Shatner 5?
All Shatner, all day, all the time.
Not good. Not good.
Written, directed,
starring.
Still better than Inhumans.
So out of 10, for those of you guys that have seen Discovery, what do you give it out of 10 compared to the 1 or 2 that we gave Inhumans?
9.
Not 9.
Whoa.
Yes.
See, I would have said like a 7.5.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Jessica?
I would say 9.
9. That's strong.
I mean, I'm not even a real. I mean, I started watching with the new movies, and I really enjoyed this.
I would give it a 7.5, 8. For what it was, I would give it a 9. But for how it fits into the bigger picture of the universe, I still need to give it a little more time. So I'm going to give it a little margin of error. It's weird that they have, like, the uniforms are strange. They don't really match to any part of Star Trek that I'm familiar with. They're a little bit too modern for Enterprise, but they're not modern enough for original series. It's strange. They don't have the colors of the uniform. They have like the weird like metallic piping, and it looks cool. It just looks a little anachronistic for continuity of Star Trek. But I'm going to give it a chance. It looks really good. I don't know. Nick, we're going to need to watch it together if you're paying that subscription fee, because I don't have $5.99 a month in me to watch Star Trek. I'll just wait till the Blu-ray
And to
comes
borrow
out.
you.
Me
I
too.
can
Let's
do
all
that.
get together weekly, and then we can video blog about
There
it.
you go.
There you
That's
go.
it. It's an expense now. It's a ministry expense. Good job, Nick. Very good. So those are our recommendations for our review times 2. We are almost out of time tonight.
We're
Thanks-
so out
thanks.
of time.
To the
No.
minds you
Thanks
go.
to the
Thank
mind
you,
guy.
Steven.
I'm
This is
sorry.
a 30-minute
That was
tangent.
gold.
Listen,
Well, at least we got a Bible game in.
we have to. Very little actual ministry happening here. I do want to take a quick second. EJ, you and I had a very fast text message conversation yesterday, and we're not going to have the time to fully flesh out the conversation you wanted, but because of the timeliness of it, man, I just want to see if you would share a little bit, and we can just sort of add on our thoughts real quick, man. What was it that you mentioned yesterday? Share with everybody if you don't mind.
Well, really, and I'll allow Neff also to kind of speak, so I'll try to be really, really brief. But we're just kind of having a conversation, Neff and I, just in regards to the shooting at Las Vegas, and I'll let Neff expound on this because I like the way he broke it down. But we were talking about villains in regards to, villains in comic books and villains in real life. And I guess almost like the motive behind what people do, and just kind of trying to delve into what the Bible talks about evil. And I know that we don't have time to really, get into it and dig deep, but I know that Neff had brought up a good point about some comic book characters and motives, and then just kind of how it can relate, or how a conversation can be had about people that in real life are evil and are willing to do very heinous things. Because that, what happened in Las Vegas Sunday.
And as we record this, it's Tuesday, so
Yeah,
the story really broke about a day ago for us.
Yes. So it just really it impacted a lot of us. I mean, everybody, of course. And so I remember I was just talking to Neff, but go ahead, Neff. I don't want to take up too much time.
The way I saw it, I was thinking about it. I was talking to EJ, and we were talking about villains, and we were talking about comparing what happened in Orlando last year with the Pulse shooting. On Monday, I remember sitting in my car watching on Snapchat. There was a lot of snaps that people were taking while the shooting was happening, and it was just heartbreaking watching those people run and try to find safety and try to find each other in the crowd, and talking about one loved ones that they had who had gone down. And it really, I started crying right there. It was that, because I mean, it reminded me of the Pulse shooting, where I was scared because I didn't know who was involved, and living in Orlando, you don't know if any of your loved ones were there. But at the same time, it was a situation where this could happen to anybody. I mean, like anybody. And because there's such a wide range of people affected by it, and there were so many people there, like, it's just scary thinking about it. And it was terrifying to see. And I felt so bad for those people there. And it really brought out a lot of sympathy for me. And I'm not trying to make it about me at all, but it's one of those things where you want to do something, but all you can do is look and see while it's happening. Even after it's happened, you know, like, because it was the day after, so what was going on was still going on. People were still, and people still right now are in the hospital affected by this thing, and people are still looking for their family and friends that were there, and they don't know where they are, whether they were hit, whether they died, whether they're in the hospital. They can't find them, and it's just been, it's tough looking at that, especially because we as a country like to be united when it comes to this kind of thing, and being so far away, it feels like we're helpless to help. And that's one of the toughest things, is to look at this situation and see these videos and being like, I can't do anything to stop it. And it wasn't like something, like, all the reports say that it wasn't telegraphed by the shooter that he was going to do these things. And it's like, I wish I could have done something, but I can't. And like I said, I'm not trying to make it about me. It's just one of the situations where you feel helpless when you really want to do whatever you can to bring some kind of peace to the situation that's so chaotic.
How helpless are you, really? What could you do?
Give blood.
Yeah, I was going to say there's been a lot of blood donors from all over the country have been doing that.
That's the step.
And we remember when we had the nightclub shooting in Orlando, that was they were turning people away because they just couldn't receive the big thing. That is a way that you can do it, you know. But realistically, as a believer, you know, there's got to be something that empowers us to respond in moments like this through our faith. That becomes more significant or more impactful than just what any ordinary person could do through the love of God. What do you think that leads us to? And I'm not trying to diminish your ability to communicate this through the lens of comic books or video games or nerdy things, but it just seems that boiling that down to well, this is just like that one issue of Superman or something like that really trivializes it quite a bit.
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. It's like the biggest difference between that is those are things that people thought of and thought that'd be a good idea. Let me make sure this bad guy does it. And the other side is this actually happened and people are actually going through this. And
so, no one swoops in and whisks someone off to Arkham and and saves the day.
I think that's part of the reason why people are drawn to comic books and stories and love a good ending, is because our world unfortunately has a lot of bad endings, a lot of sad endings, a lot of unhappy endings. So when we see that stuff, it gives us hope. But in the light of a tragedy like this, something so heinous, something so hate-filled, the reality is it's not so much of like what can we do. It's the biggest problem is it's all of it is driven by sin. I mean, the nightclub shooting, that was sin. This past shooting was sin. All of like the bad stuff in the world, the root of it is sin. And the only thing I'm not saying the only thing we can do, but the thing that comes to mind that we can do other than prayer and trying to do what we can physically, even whether it's giving blood or giving monetarily to help with a cause, to help with recovery, is really, really, really leaning on Jesus and being able to reach out to people, to help people receive Jesus to get rid of sin, because Jesus is the only one that can defeat sin. And all of these issues, the root of them is sin. And I think, and what's funny is our pastor spoke about that briefly on Sunday morning before the shooting ever happened, and it was about other issues, but the issue is still, the root of it is still the same. It's still sin.
And it really is. And there's something, I think, that as believers, that we have power over sin, Satan, and evil. We have the ability to speak life proactively. And it just seems like anymore, the frequency with which these things happen is so alarming.
Yeah.
Not only in our country, where we see, I mean, it was only a few years ago that there was the shooting in California at the office, San Bernardino, and then you have it happening in the Pulse nightclub here in Orlando. You have it. I mean, we go back to Sandy Hook, and these things are happening to the Columbine, to
the movie theater,
the little Amish, Amish school. I mean, all these things are happening here in our country.
It was at Virginia Tech,
and people raised, and social media blows up, not with people saying, let's have sympathy, let's have love, let's unite, but with, look, we were right the whole time. Guns are bad. If you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have them. And everybody takes a side and rallies to their own cry of, we were right, instead of, how can we be righteous, instead of just trying to be right. And that's where Christians have to stand, no matter what your politics are, no matter what your left, right, somewhere in the middle ends up. We all have to be on Team Jesus and walk in an extension of love and support and compassion, whether you're a country music fan or not. Going back to the nightclub shooting in Orlando, if you support homosexuality or you believe it's a sin, it doesn't matter. People are people whom God loves so much that he sent his only son into the world to die for them. So when we see a loss of life, we have to have sympathy for those people. Someone sent their mom or their dad, someone sent their son or their daughter to a concert to listen to music and have a good time, and they're gone now, and they won't get to see them again. And if we can't have sympathy for that, then how calloused and how desensitized are we? And does that make us every bit the villains as the shooter in our own way? We have to be moved by these things. And I would even challenge us, and we'll go back to the way we opened the show, and I said it in a lightly teasing way about the movies you guys watched. We have to be cautious because, now let's just say that you're a Christian, and I'm immediately, when you take a stance like this, you're a hypocrite. So it just is what it is. So I'll take full-on hypocrisy labeling. But let's just say that you play an M-rated video game, or you go see an R-rated movie, or a movie that's based on violence. You like superhero movies, so we'll pick on your Deadpool instead of your Spider-Man. Okay, we'll pick on Deadpool. We'll pick on a video game that's a shooting-based video game, and I'll go to the extreme here with a Grand Theft Auto type game, or anything along those lines, where killing and callousness and insensitivity is sort of the thing. Murder is celebrated and aggrandized and put on glorious display for the entertainment of the people that watch. Now, I'm not saying that movies are causative of these things, but they certainly do desensitize us. I'm not going to go back to, well, what kind of music was this guy listening to? What kind of did he have rap music in his iPad, or what kind of video game? This guy was in his 60s, right? So I'm pretty sure it wasn't video games that led him down the wrong road. I wasn't like he was playing Wolfenstein and all of a sudden he just decided to go on a shooting spree. But we as Christians monetarily, emotionally, and vocally support culture that desensitizes people to that sort of thing. Not even desensitizes people to the point that they get automatic weapons and go on a balcony and shoot people down, but desensitizes us to the fact that we're not pricked in our hearts and moved to action when we hear these things happening. Even when they happen at home, even less when we hear about a subway bombing in the UK, or when we hear about a nightclub stabbing in France, or when we hear about someone drives a bus filled with explosives into an ice cream parlor in Iraq, or whatever it might be. We hear these things all the time, and yet we put our blinders up and we go, well, isn't that a shame? Or we'll change our Facebook filter for just a moment and put a flag over top of our picture, and then we move on. We lean on the, well, you're in my thoughts and prayers, and we do nothing. We do nothing, which relegates us to a useless, impotent church. And I think it just falls back to the fact that we, the children of God, are desensitized. We are as desensitized as the culture is.
Wow.
And not that prayer isn't important, but
Certainly.
at the same time,
But your faith without your works
exactly,
is dead.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I talked with a friend of mine today. You guys know Joy, and she's a counselor, and we began talking about violence and the media that we are exposed to, and she was telling me big words, prefrontal cortex development and things like that. The stuff that she says. She explained to me when kids are exposed to foul language, when Jessica, when you're at the daycare and a kid in your class goes bleep, it says something bad. They didn't just know that.
Yeah,
they
they
picked
heard
it
it
up.
somewhere,
They picked it
and
up
they
because
thought it was okay.
Exactly. And as kids are developing and kids are learning, they absorb the things that they're exposed to, and they normalize them. And it's the same thing. And these statistics have been around forever. But when I'm going to make this up, but they say a kid sees 16,000 violent deaths by the time they graduate high school, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That you can't be exposed to something that much without that being normalized. If you went to McDonald's, I mean, everybody here has eaten McDonald's more than their fair share.
Yeah.
If you were going to go to McDonald's and order a large fry, and they were to give you curly fries, you would say something is different here.
Yeah.
Because the image of McDonald's fries, the flavor, the taste, the texture of McDonald's fries is so normalized for us that something that's off is off-putting. It creates this is strange. And that's the thing. Like to the world, we've become so violence and sexual perversion and all of the things have become so normalized, and not only normal in the way that it's acceptable, kind of like if you live in New York, you're used to the smell of like garbage in the air, but we actually become consumers of it. It's like we're buying the Glade air freshener, trash and cat pee smell and bringing it home with us. We're not actually just getting acclimated to the things that are out there. We're actively spending money and spending time and consuming these things, which are degrading our prefrontal cortex or our hearts. I mean, they're wearing us down. Yeah. And the Bible is like very, very specific about this. In Philippians 4:8, one of the best verses, man, for me in the Bible, and you guys will know this, it says, "Beloved, whatever's true, whatever's honorable, whatever's just, whatever's pure, whatever's pleasing, whatever's commendable, if there's any excellence and anything worthy of praise, think about these things." Think about these things. That's God telling us that we need to really make, and again, hypocrite right off the gate, but we need to make sure that we're putting good things in our mind so that when bad things happen, we can go, oh man, like this is criminal.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, especially because the shootings have become so, like, I don't want to say common, but frequent. Like, and even shootings that, like, that there was I believe it was a white supremacist shot up a black church either a year or so ago, and then just recently someone retaliated. A black man shot up a white church and it was very specifically because of that event. And it's like one violent act kept on going to another violent act, and then because all the other shootings have happened, it just fell into place. And like a lot of the only reason I know about that shooting is because I heard it on the radio. If I hadn't heard about it, if I hadn't heard it on the radio, it would have just been something that just happened, where it shouldn't be something that we just accept as, oh, another shooting happened. Let's just waiting for the next one to keep coming. And
I'm not educated enough about this to really make as solid an opinion as I wish I could. I
Right.
wish that I could say something like clever and well thought out and grounded and established. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here. But we are also victims, we're consumers of this 24-hour news cycle where they give us these headlines and they say, watch this, look at this, click here, look at this terrible thing that's happened. And it's designed, it's designed like a phone that has, once you update the new iOS, it's dead and you got to get a new phone. It's designed like to wear out so that you have to purchase a new one. Headlines are designed to show up, blow up, and then blow out. Yeah. And it's like, oh man, this horrible thing is terrible. And then tomorrow we're going to be talking about Khloe Kardashian's pregnant again.
Yeah.
Because they want to just continue giving us things that are going to make us tune into them. And if something terrible happens, great. That's a great news day for them. They love that because that gets the clicks and that gets the ratings and that gets the things like that. And we buy it hook, line, and sinker. and we scoot into that kind of thing.
I wonder, and this is just speaking out loud too. It's like I wonder how the world would look if, even for a day, like a solid day or a solid week, like we just decided not to allow that to happen, and we were intentional with just not letting, another foul event happen, and okay, yeah, that happened, and if we found our own ways to call to action, whether it was giving blood or just being very proactive about taking action and always erring on the side of action.
I like that. I think, like you were like where you're going with, how we move on to like the next thing, like especially your example, like moving on from like some bad event happening and then going into like some kind of pop culture news the next day. I think that shortens the grieving process
very much so.
And
well
I think,
said.
like you said, the sympathetic part of us needs to be strong, and for us to take that much more action. I believe that because we cut down that grieving process, it cuts down the amount of caring that we give about those situations.
And I may be out of line here, but I'm just going to speculate. In the past 24 hours, while you've been thinking about this, how often have you thought about the people in Puerto Rico who still don't have power?
Right.
Because we've moved on. Yeah. We've moved on from that thing. Remember when the hurricane came here and all those people got Florida? How often after that happened were you thinking about the people in Houston? Because they're still without homes because we move on to the next thing. And go back 15 years. Remember all those people from 9/11? That little girl who lost her dad on September 11th, her dad's still gone, and she still hurts. That little girl who was 5 years old then got married this weekend or whatever, and she walked down the aisle without her dad because somebody was filled with hate and couldn't figure out a better way to walk it out than to fly an airplane into a building. Couldn't figure out a better way to deal with their own hurt than to hurt other people, and that's terrible.
Two people I went to school with, one of them was actually my sister's friend. Their mom was a flight attendant on one of those planes.
Wow.
And they live in Tampa now, from last I heard, and their mom will never see them get married, will never see her grandkids. She didn't get to see them graduate high school or college, all because of hate.
Yeah, it just blows my mind, because it's kind of going also on what you're saying. I was at Wells Fargo pulling out money, and on the ATM it was like they're collecting, Wells Fargo still collecting money for victims from Hurricane Maria, and I'm sitting here like I'm already on. I'm thinking about Irma.
I'm on the next thing.
We were helping missions team. Created Puerto Rico flags to sell. Just Sunday, we were in the narthex. Trying to raise funds for Irma.
A narthex is that's what we call the lobby of our church.
Sorry,
sounds like a Star Trek word.
In the lobby of our church, selling flags for all the proceeds going to help victims in Puerto Rico, and it's just interesting because there's still people struggling, hurting from Harvey. But
sure,
well, that's the thing. Like
crazy.
I like yesterday when EJ and I were talking, I texted him because I had seen his post about the Puerto Rican flag donation thing, the charity thing, and I was like, "Hey, I realize how important this is, and I don't want you to give up the Puerto Rican or the Houston or even the Florida flag stuff. I think those things should still be on that list of charity paintings, but I think there should be something for the Las Vegas thing." Like I didn't want to push away the other things because I realized how important it is, and especially as a Floridian, realizing how hurricanes can affect us and affect people. I definitely recognize how tough that is.
So is it somehow more evil because a person did it rather than it was just a force of nature?
Well, that's.
I mean, is it some? I'm asking. I mean,
about that.
nobody thinks that hurricanes are evil, do they?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like that's interesting.
That's not true. I had one guy. I almost punched him. Yeah. I was so mad I had to walk away. I heard this because you know what? You know who's the worst? Christians are the worst. It's at the end of the podcast. Anybody who's tracked with us for over 2 hours, you're deep fried, so you're in this with us. Listen, I heard this Christian guy talking to another guy, and he's saying, "Well, do you know why the hurricane hit Puerto Rico? It's because Puerto Rico has allowed things like witchcraft and Santeria and different things like that, so that God is exercising judgment on Puerto Rico." And that's why he allowed that to happen. And I'm going, I wonder what he said about Las Vegas. Well, it's Sin City. So,
Well,
of course,
heard this-
God let a guy come and shoot him. I wanted to punch him in the face because, first off, there is not a shred of love in whatever you said. If God really was that bent on exercising his judgment on this generation, you better run and hide because God is going to come after us so hard and so swift that there's not a cave deep enough that we can hide in that away from the butt kicking that he deserves to give to us. If God is so vengeful that he's ready to bring out that kind of thunder on us, then what hope do we even have?
And we heard the same things after the nightclub shooting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Same
that
things,
just
and
got my blood boiling.
I was getting extremely mad at that.
You
'cause I
can't tell me that the God who offered up his own life to save people from their sin is now ready to line up just to pick them off one by one.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so out of character with God. Now, I know that
Exactly.
there's a time that judgment does come, but that judgment is not God exercising some sadistic, enjoyable vengeance. That's us reaping the reward of our own rejection of Christ. And that's a different case. But God is not trying to come along like some petty kid with a magnifying glass trying to fry us or hit us with a rubber band or something like that from heaven because he just needs to prove a point. He's not petty. He's not little like that. But we as a culture, we just get so, and I'm talking about Christ culture.
Yeah.
We just want to be right so bad that we're desperate to make somebody else wrong, and it frustrates me so much. When Neff, it bothered me a minute ago, not because you said it, but that it exists. When you said, well, somebody shot up a black church, and then they went around and retaliated and shot up a white church. Why are there black churches and white churches? Why is that a thing? Come on, Christians. Figure it out, man. Our culture in Christ, our faith in Christ is bigger than our ethnic backgrounds, our racial backgrounds, our socioeconomic backgrounds. I'm brothers with my man from Haiti that's a believer in Christ. I'm brothers with my friends that are over in Hillsong in Australia.
Amen.
I'm brothers with the rich folks. I'm brothers with the poor folks because we're united in Christ. There is no Jew, no Gentile, no slave, no free. God is not a respecter of persons. And it's time for the church. If you want to see real news happen, let's get the church finally past the divisions and the little dotted lines that we've drawn in between ourselves with crayons. Oh, forgive me, you're a Baptist, but we're a Pentecostal, so we can't play in the same sandbox anymore. And let's just finally say, hey, we are all bought by the blood of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And it's time for us to take a stand and actually say, well, you know this thing that the world has been selling us? It's not right. It's wrong, and we've all bought into it, and it's time for us to stand up united and actually do something that's causative instead of just being part of the problem.
Christians are the best and worst representation of God.
These are the moments where these are the opportunities in which we are afforded the best chance to demonstrate the love of Christ. Your paper towels are never tested until something spills. And then you can find out, are they in fact the quicker picker upper, or did you cheap out on them? You know what I mean? Like when people are hurting, that's the greatest opportunity for us to demonstrate Christ's healing.
Yes.
When people are segmented, fragmented, that's the best opportunity for us to demonstrate the unity that comes in Christ. And Psalm 11 said the Lord tests the righteous. I think that this is a test for the church. And by test, I mean this will show what we are made of.
Yes.
This will show the integrity that we have. This will show the content of our characters. Psalm 11:5 says, the Lord tests the righteous, but his soul hates the wicked and the one who loves violence. And there's people in this world that only exist to hurt. And whether it's executed or whether it's just fantasized, those people are hurting, and God can't stand that. God is a defender of the weak and the helpless. He's not about murder. I mean, it made his top 10 list of things not to do. And it's the church's time to begin demonstrating what the culture of life looks like instead of, I'll go since I'm ranting right now. It's October. It's the Halloween season.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with people. I don't hate on Halloween because free candy. That's what's up, right?
Cosplay.
And I like dressing up. Dressing up is fun. Dressing up is really, really cool. But I do have a little bit. I have to take exception to Christians that again monetize and support an industry that thrives on death when Christ is all about life.
Yes.
And I'm not knocking you, but some people like the things that they like, and I get it. But I kind of like sin too, and I'm trying to get past that one as well. But when horror movies come out that are like straight up demonic movies that are like straight up about death and fear, God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. So why are you going and buying it? You know, like, oh, I want to go see a movie about a clown that lives in the sewers that chases kids because I just like the little goosebumps. I like the way that it feels. You know what? I talked to a guy this morning who struggles with heroin. He likes the way it feels too.
Wow.
And he continues buying it even though he knows it's not right. I sat here 10 feet from where we're standing right now and prayed with this guy as he wept and cried and said, I'm not allowed to see my grandkids because I can't quit doing this, even though I know what's right. You know, and we go out and we spend money on games. We spend money on movies. Halloween time comes up and we go, man, you'll just hate me. Go ahead. I don't even care. We go to these theme park horror, displays, haunted house things that, man, they deal in fear, and that's the opposite of what God sells us. They deal in death and darkness, and that's the opposite of what Christ stands for. Like, Jesus is giving us this, and we're saying, okay, but I would like to have that because I like the feeling, because I think it's fun, because I think it's creative. And it's like, well, but what are we supporting and endorsing and encouraging? We can't get mad and shake our fist when the culture of death comes out and actually does what it said it was going to do, when we've been tickling its feet this entire time and throwing dollar bills at it like it's some kind of skull-faced stripper on a pole.
Wow.
Oh yeah, look at us. Look at what we got. Ooh, it's good. It's fun. It's enjoyable. And then people actually die, and we're like, well, that's just not okay. Well, what do you mean it's not okay? You've been buying it, by the case full. And the world doesn't know any better, but the church should know better. The church should know better. And I know this is a diatribe. I know this is a rant. I know this is me on my high horse, and I don't even care. If I'm guilty of it, God, convict my heart and bring an actual sustainable change. But man, church, come on. Come on. It's playtime is past. Playtime is past, dude. When I was a kid, I brought my Megatron action figure to school in the second grade. I was in second grade. I was at third grade. I was at Banner Elk Elementary. I had my Walkman that had my Michael Jackson Thriller cassette in it, and I had Megatron the Transformer. And I turned him into a gun because that's what Megatron transformed into before they decided to make him a plane and a tank and stupid things like that. Megatron's a gun. And when I transformed him, my teacher, I remember it, she took it away from me. She said, we don't allow guns at this school. You can't have guns. I said, it's a toy. It's not a real thing. She said, we don't allow any exceptions. You're not allowed to have play guns. Yeah. And okay, whatever. And that was when I was in third grade. I was innocent. There were no school shootings back then that I was aware of. Well, now you're not allowed to even you're not even allowed to bring anything in that kind of looks like a gun.
Yeah,
and obviously, there's an obvious reason why. But I want you to imagine, if I'm a believer and let's just say that I have somebody who has been threatened with a gun before or who lost a loved one to gun violence, but I just want to play with my Megatron because I like Transformers, and I go waving this gun around at him. What kind of a jerk am I? Like how that doesn't show love, compassion, sensitivity, or care, does it? And that's what Christians do. Christians are all like, oh yeah, world, we know that you're dying. We know that you're trapped and buried in sin. And we know that that's going to send you to an eternal hell where you're separated from God forever. But we're still going to go ahead and throw our money and our support and our love and our affinity and our admiration at that same sin culture that has wrapped a noose around your neck and is dragging you through the street. But we're going to support it because it's fun for us. We're saved. We don't care. Compromise is cool. As long as you got Jesus, you can play both sides of the fence. And man, we want to know why the church is completely ineffective. We want to know why the church isn't able to do anything. We want to know why these kind of things happen. Because man, we've been paying the very same person that's beating them with a death stick. That's what it is. And again, I know that this is a rant, man, but we have to start figuring out what God likes and what God dislikes and start aligning us to him instead of asking him to forgive us. And that's just me, man. That's where I'm coming from.
No, I mean, and I'm guilty of it too, but I guess hearing everything that you said, one thing that just really sticks out that I wanted to just add, and I'm in complete agreement with you, Tony, is that the powerful and scary thing, and like we said earlier, if you've been rocking with us and listening to this podcast, because this is pretty long, but if you're still listening, I just want you guys to think about this right here. It's powerful and scary at the same time. The path to heaven is very narrow, and a lot of us, there's a lot of people that think they're going to heaven. A lot of people think they're going to heaven. And the powerful and scary thing to think about is, as cliche and as Jesus-y or Jesus juke as it sounds, as we're up here hanging out and afterwards some of us might go to Wawa, some might go home and watch a Blu-ray, some of us might go home and play PS4. We're going to go, or whatever we're going to do after this. I'm reading a book by Francis Chan called You and Me. And the book, I've only read the introduction in the first chapter, and the book starts off with this, like, are you prepared to meet God? Like, when you think about that concept, like, we prepare for so much. You know, our friend got married, Blake. He prepared to get married. Yeah. Pastors prepare to preach on Sunday morning. Tony prepares to preach on Wednesdays to the youth. We prepare for so many different things. We prepare for school. We prepare to go to a test, and we prepare to do these things that allow us to either get a job, or we're preparing for a job interview. We prepare. But it's one of those things, like, are we truly preparing to meet God? And everything that you're saying, Tony, it's just powerful, because it's like we are feeding into this sin culture, and the whole time we're not even seeing a lot of times that the path to heaven is narrow. Like, saying no to Halloween Horror Nights, that's a narrow path. And I'm guilty. I've been to it. And it's a narrow path when you got all these people saying, let's go to Halloween Horror Nights. And it's like, that path is narrow. Why? Because there's 20 people, 20 of your closest friends or people that you know going to Halloween Horror Nights, but you saying no, and I'm about to start crying because it's powerful. You saying no and staying home or doing something else that almost allows you to be in a place of rejection or isolation or solidarity. Like, that's a very powerful, that's that narrow road that I'm talking about. Sometimes making the right choice is going to be hard, and I'm guilty of this. Like, throwing money at sin culture, not throwing money at sin culture is hard because it makes me feel good. It gives me the goosebumps. That video game's awesome. That Blu-ray's awesome. You know, there's Blu-rays in my collection right now that I should go home right now and toss away because I'm throwing money at sin culture and feeding sin culture. So I just want to tell you, Tony, like what you said, I agree with 100%, and it's super powerful. And you know, I'm convicted not because you're preaching at me or you're preaching period, but I'm convicted because I know that my life should be spent as a believer in Christ. My life should be spent preparing to meet God, to meet Jesus, because it's gonna happen. Those people in Las Vegas, they met Jesus. They did. Whether it was a heinous crime or not, whether you lived your life for Christ your whole life, and you're on your deathbed and you're 84 years old and your whole family's around you and your wife is holding your hand, or you got shot by a heinous person, either way it goes, you're meeting Jesus. And that's a powerful thing to think about. And I guess I'm going on my rant, but all I'm saying is this, is that it's narrow. The path is narrow because the wider path is a path of feeling good and sensationalism and comfort and laziness and non-discipline, whatever that word is, not being disciplined. Like, that's the wide path. But that narrow path is discipline. It's keeping your eyes focused on God. It's making those hard choices and not going to those events, or not listening to this, or not watching this, or not being with these people. Like, that's the straight and narrow. And the wider path is always going to feel a lot better. So just, Tony, I just appreciate everything you said because I'm on board.
Thanks, man. one of the hardest things for me to hear and making these decisions for ourselves is it's different. I'm the only parent that's here on our panel today, but when you're a parent, you've got to not only make these decisions for yourself, you've also got to help your children. You talk about preparing. My job as a dad is to prepare my son to be the man that God wants him to be, so that when I'm there, when I don't have my hands on the reins anymore, he'll still continue to make good decisions. Yeah. And growing up, we always kept him, I don't want to say he's sheltered, because he's certainly not sheltered, but we made good choices about exposing him to certain things, especially graphic violence and strong language, sexual imagery, things like that. I wasn't sheltered from any of that when I was a kid. I mean, I saw absolutely everything. Yeah. But I remember when he was in elementary school, you'll remember this, Stephen, that he would anytime something would come up that he thought was sketchy or questionable, he would call it out. He'd call it out. If I remember playing a video game, I downloaded a demo for a game. I don't even know what it was. It was a dumb game, and a character, like in the opening cinematic, a character used profanity, and my son was like, "That's not okay." 10 years old. Wow, that's not okay. And I was like, "You're right, son. You're right." I thought opening cinematic, we'll get past it. It'll be over. And the guy used another bit of foul language. My son, 10 years old, gets up and walks out of the room. He excused himself from the room. I was very proud of him, and he was right. At that point, I turned the game off. We had enough, so I turned the game off, and I was inspired and motivated by the kid who I tried to raise up. So it was cool. It was good. We had a good boundary, and I remember when we came home. He came home from middle school just 2 years later, and it was probably halfway through his 6th grade year, or maybe early into 7th grade year, and we were watching some kind of a video, and someone dropped like an F-bomb right in the video. And I was like, whoa, I'm sorry, son, I'm sorry. And he just looked at me and shrugged his shoulders. He's like, it's okay, I hear it every day. And he didn't even get up. It didn't even faze him to not hear it, because he had become so desensitized to it. And we in the church can't afford to be desensitized to sin. We can't afford to let sin blur in or become normalized or just become everyday, acceptable to us. We can't categorize sin as, well, this is a heinous sin, but this one's okay. This one won't really, it doesn't really count. Man, we gotta stand for righteousness. We gotta stand for love. We have to protect the widows and the orphans and those who don't know. To me, those are even like the sinners. They don't know. We have to protect them. I mean, we have to be their superheroes. We have to be their advocates. Because they don't understand. They don't know what they do. That's what Christ did. He came to seek them and save them. But I think it starts honestly with us, like 2 Corinthians chapter 10, I believe, says, we got to take every thought captive for Christ. Yeah. It starts right here, and then it comes out from just for loving people and allowing our hearts to be broken. Think of the tears. Think of the tears on the Father's face, man. To not try to overly anthropomorphize God or anything like that, but think of the tears that fall down God's face when he sees someone's life cut short because of sin and because of hate. Our God is a God of mercy, but he's a God of justice too. And that has to break his heart. It has to break his heart. So let what breaks the Father's heart break our heart. Yeah. And let us be motivated not only to do the things that we can do to help, but to help adjust the culture that we live in, to be a culture that celebrates life, to be a culture that celebrates love, and that reaches everybody that we can with the life-changing power of Jesus Christ. Yeah. So if you have something that you'd like to contribute to this conversation, your thoughts, your ideas, your comments on what you find acceptable or what you think God is challenging us to do, or even how you handle violent content in games and movies with your kids, or filter these things on your own, please let us know. We'd love to continue this conversation. We are definitely at the end of our road tonight, but let us know. Reach out to us. Shoot us an email. We would love to hear from you. That's nerdofgodcast@gmail.com, or hit us up on any of our social media platforms at Nerd of Godcast, all across the usual suspects. We really would love to hear from you, and just we want to encourage you, even if it seems like it's a little bit of a rant tonight. It's from a point of let's be challenged and let's be encouraged and let's do better. Let's do better. Final thoughts? Is Jessica still there? Oh, you leaned back. I thought, okay, we lost Jessica. She's dead. All right. Well.
Yeah.
To the mines you go.
To the mines you go.
Well,
Dang it, Tony, you ruined my goodbye salutation.
I was gonna say it.
That's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say it too.
Well, to the minds of both of you.
you remember the line from the Iron Giant. You don't have to be a gun. You don't have to be a gun. You can be Superman.
That's what I was thinking.
You
when
can be the
doing
one.
You were doing your Megatron.
Yeah,
thing.
that's
You
what
don't
I
have,
was
you don't have to be a gun.
You don't have to be a gun.
But that was the thing. It was the choice between being an instrument of destruction or being Superman. You know, being the one who stands for what's true, being the one who stands for justice, and being the one who rescues people from the perils and the dangers of this world. Strange visitor from another planet. Truth, justice, the American way. We do pray in Jesus' name for his protection on our country, on those around the world. We do pray for those that are dealing with the loss of loved ones, with injuries, with hurt, that will live in fear and trepidation. God, we pray for the strength and the perseverance of the first responders. What a demanding job, a demanding calling. And Lord, not only for those that have been impacted by this tragedy, but those that continue to suffer because of results of the storms that have happened, and even those that they're hurt and they've experienced loss in small ways, in the ways that don't make the news. God, help us to heal, help us to move forward, and help us to rediscover you in the light of these tragedies, individually, as a church, and as a nation. Lord, we thank you, and we call it done in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Well, this has been the Nerd of God cast, episode 51. Want to say thank you to everyone for being with us tonight. It is now officially super late, and but
it's
we do.
almost like 3 hours long. This recording.
This is a big one. This is a big one. But we do want to say thank you guys so much for being with us. To EJ Official Ness.
Yow.
To the twins, Jackie and Jess.
Bye.
Good night.
To the big man, Quentin Neff.
I still have never been attacked by a quarter pounder with cheese in public.
To Nick, the engineer Sadler.
Goodbye.
And to Steve-O Supremo.
Not all shepherds are German, but all Germans are shepherds.
Quote.
Quote.
There's no way for me to work that into a normal conversation. Either is my last one, unless somehow someone brought up Justin Bieber and I go, look, we all know that Justin Bieber is the Meryl Streep of music.
And I'll fight you.
There's no way for me to bring that up.
That's another
What was your
stabbing
quote?
offense.
What was your quote, Jess?
That's a lie.
Mike,
She threw him away.
What was your other quote, Neff? Did you do both of them?
Yeah, he used, we
What was your other quote, Jackie?
Like my grandmother used to say, always order as much shrimp as possible when under duress.
Wait, your grandmother has shrimp under her dress?
Duress.
My grandma's
Oh,
dead.
Okay then.
What?
As is mine.
EJ, what was your last quote?
The only reason you're saying that is because you have a strange affinity for banana bread.
I like that one.
And my grandma's dead.
Can we look at more? Can we make,
so then I said rather matter-of-factly, there's no such thing as gravity. And, arg! Sorry, I'm absolutely petrified of bangs. Not yours in particular, but all bangs. Do you see there? Yeah,
read
things
some
I
of
would
these?
never say.
Good night, everybody.
Night-night.
Nice. Hey, that's fine. I don't know, but I feel like Job had it coming.
That's bad.
That was a quote. You printed that.